Dragon Ball Apprentice Angel Chapter 301-320. Chapter 301 Roger, hear my voice. As for whether they believe me or not, I don't believe it anyway. Vados smiled and I don't believe it. Myers gritted his teeth. How about you, Weiss? Roger rolled to Wes. You talk, I'm not involved. Weiss politely replied, just like before, I will give you a minute to increase Shalbusuan's strength by 5 times. If the improvement is successful, I will give you 100 True God Domain. I follow. Myers rode. If you lose, how about you give me and Myers 100 True God Domain each? Vados suggested. If I lose, like you guys, how about an IOU? Roger thought about it. Of course it's okay to ask. Vados nodded. Not objecting to IOUs is also a good thing. Now Vados does not lack the realm of true gods. What Vados wants to get back most is that he has cultivated it for thousands of years, and has also given birth to the Scepter of Wisdom. If Roger can make a 1,000-point IOU in the realm of the true gods, it will be more than enough to change the staff. I am so smart. Vados was a little excited for a while. What about you, Russ? Would you like to join in? Vados asked if I want to join, but I don't quite understand. Ruosi scratched her head. Sister you, it doesn't matter if you understand or not, you and I will be in touch with each other. If you do, you will just make an IOU and return it to Roger when there is a realm of straight gods. Vados said with a smile. Don't call me sister. Ruosi pouted unhappily. Ha ha ha, okay. You said you would like to join in. Asked Vados. I had. Jose replied. You guys are overdone. 3-1. Roger reprimanded. I have to lose 300 points in the realm of the true gods all at once. But if you win, you can get 300 points all at once, which is still very cost-effective. Vados smiled. You were right. Roger nodded, gritted his teeth and said, okay, that's enough, I'll give it a try, right? If you win or lose this game, do you still sing? Weiss asked suddenly. Vados Myers. You just made us all sick to death. You can sing, but you can't, Wes. Vados ordered. I sing really well, Weiss said with a wry smile. It doesn't sound good at all. Ruosi and Vados shouted together. Okay, can this session be cancelled? Weiss scratched his head. I think it's more fun than singing. What Wes has said is right, the real god domain is too outlandish, let's sing in the competition. Roger nodded. You can't be fooled. Ruosi and Vados hold Roger and don't let it go. Don't be rude, don't be rude. Roger sighed, then the same as before, together with singing in the realm of the gods, I will choose the Little Boo player from our universe to win. Weiss said. I choose the Kel of our universe. Vados rode. My sister and I chose the same. Joshua replied. This time, I'm on my sister's side. Myers smiled. Roger has a smile on his face. They made it clear that they let themselves sing. If you want to lose on your own side, won't Weiss let it go? You can only sing a song by yourself. I'm pretty good too, okay. Vados waved his hand, time recovered. Boom. Little Boo launches a fierce attack on Kaylee. Boo's speed is super fast, and the 3 words, steady quasi-monkey, are fully expressed. In addition, under the guidance of Weiss, Little Boo's strength has also improved a lot, at least with Little Boo's current performance. Strength, it is very difficult for Sun Wukong to defeat him when he becomes a Super Saiyan Tier 3. Roger made a preliminary estimate, and the strength of Little Boo is already close to that of the Super Saiyan God. The battle lasted about 3 minutes, Kale green flames bloomed all over his body, and he grabbed the Little Boo's head and scrawled on the ground. Kale kicked the Little Boo out of the platform with 1 kick. In this competition, Kale from Universe 6 won. Vados announced Liu Jie, Roger. Ruosi rolled Roger excitedly. It's me, my song is good. Weiss cleared the noise. No, I want to hear Roger sing. Vados shook his head. I want to hear Roger sing too. If Ruosi smiled, I was expecting me to. Myers replied, is my singing so disgusting? You only know that Weiss is in danger. Almost everyone shouted in unison. Weiss stopped talking. So embarrassing. Why do I think my singing is so good? By the way, can Roger sing well? It's been a long time since the realm of the gods, no new songs have been born. What song can Roger sing? Ask for flowers. 0. Do you have a song to sing? Alright, then I'll be rude. Roger nodded. Roger stretched out his hand and thumbed out an all-purpose glue. Roger threw the magnum in his hand. The universal capsule has created 108 stereos. These 108 speakers are automatically divided into different directions, and they are placed in place one by one. This is called omnidirectional stereo. If you don't want to listen to it from a chirping angle, it's really cool. This set of speakers is also the result of several years of research by Bulma's father, Brives. Dr. Brives has been working on sound systems. What kind of sound effect is better? Dr. Brives is still very particular about this. After years of research, Dr. Brives finally succeeded with the help of Roger. In order to express his gratitude to Roger, Dr. Brives gave a sound to Roger and Roger naturally had no objection. Turn off the sound. That's when it just came in handy. Everyone looked at Roger's 108 speakers without blinking. Are you exaggerating too? Do you need so many speakers to sing a song? At the time, Weston felt that when it comes to the professional level of singing, compared with Roger's cabinet, he is not a little bit worse. So sad that Roger picked up the mic and snapped his fingers. The accompaniment sounded. The beautiful music shocked the audience. Everyone was amazed. Why does it sound so good? Why is there such a nice tune? Roger opened his red lips lightly, looked at Vados silently, and began to sing in his low and sexual voice. He wanted to sing Me to You. Let's enjoy the flowers while you are young. Decorate your years my branches. Who can replace you? Love while you are young. Dearest person. It's a long way, let's be together. I sing Me to You. Give me your innocent smile. We should have happy sunny days. Shy red. Who can replace you, my dearest one? It's a long way, let's be together. Everyone stopped talking, and they all got drunk together. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 302 Weiss, 500 True God Domain. I want. What song is this by? It's just celestial. Especially Weiss, it was even more shocking. When did Divinity release this song? How can it sound so good? I don't know, such a beautiful song, how come I don't know? Vado's face was flushed, and he looked at Roger infatuatedly, and the little dear Tungruosi in his heart was also blushing, and his face was delicate. It was the first time that Dao's young daughter's mentality was so handsome. Callithla blushed even more. I'm only 11 years old. Angel Roger, you must wait for me to grow up. Kale is even more adoring Roger on the right. I want to grow up. I'm going to grow up quickly when I grow up, I must marry Roger. Even Sun Wukong, who doesn't have the slightest sense of music, is now stunned. What was that just now? It sounds really comfortable. The sound changed back to the universal wrestling bag, which was put away by Roger. The scene was silent, it was so good. The song just now is so beautiful. How can there be such a beautiful song in this world? Otherwise, stop the competition, how about a special Roger concert? Cough cough. I didn't expect you to sing so well, Roger. Weiss looked at Roger with an envious look for fear of contrast. Weiss used to think he could sing just fine. Now compared to Roger, is that called singing? It's called noise, isn't it? Roger called song won a prize. Roger smiled. Bulma's father, in fact, has been researching how to make the sound effect to the best level, and after years of research and development, he finally came out. What's the meaning? Weiss was slightly startled, and looked at Roger with some incomprehension. Roger beckoned. Jess stuck his ear out. Roger whispered something in Weiss' ear. Real. Weiss rolled Roger in surprise. What do you say? Roger smiled. Weiss, do you usually look at me? So, the obvious thing. Roger laughed. Can you send me a set? Weiss is greedy. It's worth having a voice that can make your singing beautiful, especially for someone like Weiss who likes to sing. Roger whispered to Wes just now, and he was talking about this CC. Our relationship, of course, is fine. Roger said, looking in the direction of Brawley, and Brawley came over quickly. At this time, Roger took out the almighty sack and handed it to the angel Weiss. Roger. This thing is priceless. It can make the singing sound very beautiful. Do you really want to send it out? Brawley is in danger. Ask. Shut me up. What is my relationship with Weiss? Can I ask for Weiss money? Roger's rebuke at the head, but this is the token of love that Miss Bulma gave you. Brawley said again, cough, cough, you made it up a bit too much. This is what Bulma's father gave me. Can you speak? Luckily, Weiss didn't care about these details either. He stared at the universal capsule in Roger's hand without blinking. Shut up, Brawley, if you talk again, I'll kill you. Roger angrily said, this thing has nothing to do with Miss Bulma, you're wrong. I remembered, this is the dowry given to you by Bulma's father. Brawley continued. Roger nodded slightly. Well, this reason is also said in the past. Since it is a piece of good intentions from Bulma's father, I can't give this away, can I? Roger sighed, taking the capsule back under Wes's watchful eye. A near disappointment at Weston. Come on, Weiss, I'll let Bulma's father do it again. Does Roger continue to say it's true? Can we do another set? Weiss is pleasantly surprised. Yes. After Roger finished speaking, he couldn't help shaking his head again, but Bulma's father said, there is only one thing in the world, no one else. If you do too much, it will lose its value, so when he gave it to me, he said however, it is absolutely impossible to do the second set again. And don't even think about cracking it, there are too many structures in the instrument, even our angels will be confused. Sri Lanka. Saying it means not saying it. Roger, you can talk about the realm of the true gods. Bados, as an outsider, springs out at a glance, and Roger is not for the realm of true gods. There is only one set in the world. Who are you deceiving? How much hurt is the realm of the gods? Roger glared at Vados, then said, 1000 true god domain, give it to Che, I don't want it. Vados hummed. 1000 true god domain. How dare you Summer? You get a set of stereos, and you want 1000 true god realm. You are better than this. Weiss is also one of the hearts, and the danger is slightly discolored. Too expensive. However, good things are meant to be given to those who exert their value. Wes, I gave it to you. You can just give some meaning to the realm of the true gods. As Roger said, Jung Yu put the universal capsule into Weiss' hands. Real. How inviting Wes's is. I said, how much does it hurt to talk about money? This thing, you can just look at the realm of straight gods. Roger smiled and I thank you so much. Weiss looked excited and grateful. However, Weiss is not stupid enough to give away the realm of true gods for nothing. Can I try it? Weiss asked. Things are 4.0 yours, you can try whatever you want. Roger nodded. Weiss didn't talk too much, and immediately threw the universal capsule out. 08 speakers set their own positions. Weiss took the microphone and started singing. Everyone covered their ears. It's just that when Wes's singing came out of the speakers, everyone except Roger was stunned. How could it sound so good? Isn't Weiss's voice very hard to listen to? What's the point? Even Wes was moved by his own singing. This is the voice of heaven. With a look of excitement on his face, Weiss simply finished the song to Vados. Ross. Myers. Good game, I just let you make a concert. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 303 Wes, remember to sing when I present the award. Roger, as a token of thanks, I'll call you a 500-point IOU from the divine realm. As Wes said that, he made an IOU, pressed his handprint, and handed it to Roger. It's too late for Vados to stop. Myers also widened his eyes. His eyelids were incredible. Weiss, you are amazing. The shot is 500 points of the real God domain. You used 500 true God realm to buy a sound in the human world. When did the real God realm become so expensive? That's something that only angels, the Grand Shrine and the King of all have, so I'll take it with a smile. Roger nodded and quickly collected the IOU from Vados. Roger, you are so shameless. Weiss, take the time to hold a concert in the realm of the gods. Roger said to Scovies, besides, I still have a lot of good songs, and I'll send them to you when the time comes. Okay, no problem. Weiss nodded, readily agreed, and asked, by the way, when is the right time for the centipede to sing? I think it's very suitable for you to sing while I'm awarding the awards. I'll let you know the exact time, and you must remember to bring your equipment. Roger patted 12 Weiss's shoulder. No problem. Weiss nodded again. Vados. Wes, please have a snack. When he sang the award, you sang. Are you calling a concert? Roger, this is putting you in the background music. Weiss doesn't think so. Anyway, I like to sing, it doesn't matter. Roger is so happy. Song, actually got so many benefits. Worth it. Ahem, let's go to the teaching aspect. Vados hurriedly changed the subject and went on like this, the game is still over. Have you fallen asleep without watching those Saiyans? Roger, according to what you said before, you will guide Little Boo for a minute. Let him increase his strength 5 times, are you ready? Vados asked. With that said, the flame of Vados flashed in his hand, and a 1-minute hourglass was ready. I thought about it, and this time I would abstain. Roger shook his head and said solemnly. After saying this, Roger quickly made 3 IOUs and sent them to Vados, Myers, and Ruosi. This realm of straight gods is coming too fast, right? Roger, is this a throw-in? Happy, so suddenly. Even the 100-point IOU from the true god domain that Ruosi Naruo Roger handed to her, put it on her mouth and kissed me hard. This thing is worth remembering. I actually won Roger's real god realm here. Although it's just an IOU, the god realm has not defaulted on the debt. If you have the true god domain and don't pay it back, you can ask King Quan to reason with you. Myers is also excited. My IOUs are finally cleared. I don't owe Roger true god realm anymore. Debt-free. Vados really smiled like a flower. 100 points in the realm of true gods. This is Roger's 100-point true god realm. Vados also forgives a few IOUs, but seeing her sister Ruosi kissing so vigorously, her image is gone, she simply shows some restraint. Vados thought for a while, and waved to Ruoros and Myers. The two happily got together. In fact, you are all overshadowed by Roger's superficial appearance. I can see it clearly, he just likes to brag. Vados smiled and said, the matter of Sun Wufan is definitely covered by him, or he knows to emit the most powerful energy. Myers nodded vigorously, yes, of course. Except for Sun Wuhan, no one has such a special case. Vados smiled, so, we bet right this time. Sister, are you still going on? If she was a little excited, she didn't know how to win, but Ruosi was still very happy. No wonder Roger was so happy every day when she woke up. Every single time, can you not be happy? I'm so happy this time. Continue, of course I have to continue, this time, I will set a small goal for myself first. Vados pondered. Is this a small goal? That's the 1000-point true god realm. Myers wipes his sweat and the realm is worth a lot. Well, that's it, remember to come with me later, we can win 300 points at a time. Vados lowered his voice. Myers nodded. Ruosi clenched her fists excitedly. If I can really win back what I've lost, why should I marry Roger? However, when she thought that she seemed unable to marry Roger, Ruosi suddenly felt that Whis, who was empty in her heart, looked at the realm of the true gods obtained by the 3 of Vados, and was a little envious of her sister. Otherwise, I'll follow along. So greedy. Well, we move on to the next game. Vados thinks it's too happy today. Judging from the current situation, Kaylee has no problem hitting Vegeta in the 7th universe. Even if Baegun is strong, he will continue to challenge Kaylee. Caulifla, the 4 of them, Gabe and Hit, also consumed Baegunbu to death. Next, Kare 640 of the 6th universe will continue to challenge the next contestant of the 7th universe. Vados announced with a smile, please the number 16 player of the 7th universe to play, and number 16 flew into the ring without a word. Game start. Vados greeted. Weiss, lips are stern, our universe is about to lose. If this goes on, our universe will definitely be over. Time stop. Vados waved his big hand lightly, and stopped time again. Vados, watch the game. Why did time stop again? Roger frowned and giggled. This is something I learned from you. Vados smiled. Roger, you stopped time before. Suji didn't say a word, and the danger is not very good. Sure enough, the losers don't look good. Roger, this time, the strength of number 16 has also been increased by 5 times. Vados said with a smile. Ha ha ha, it's hard, it's hard. Roger hit a ha ha. Forget it, Roger, this isn't your Phoenix, what about a god-level guide? Vados started to ignite the Phoenix. You really let me take the lead, this number 16. Roger's face is like this. Give you 5 minutes to increase number 16 feet's strength 5 times, just let you win. Vados is a very generous proposal. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 304 Vados, another win. You sure? Roger moved in his heart and looked at Vados. Vados' face was slightly moved. Could it be that he really has the strength to improve number 16? He must be playing tricks, one sure. Vados replied calmly. By the way, do you still sing? Roger quickly changed the subject. Don't interrupt, just say it, okay. When Badostan came to be interested, cough. Since you insist on it again and again, I will reluctantly agree. Roger scratched his head, looking distressed. Old rules, 100 points in the realm of true gods, Eus. Vados smiles okay. Roger looks a little reluctant. Who are you with? Vados hello. I follow. Ruosi said quickly. I'll follow. Myers said. Weiss hesitated. After a brief silence. Well, I'll join in the fun too, I'll follow. Where's Wes nodding that sing? Roger asked. Even sing. Play, let them decide the winner as soon as possible. Vados smiled and waved time to return to normal. Kel and number 16 fought fiercely on stage. The strength of the freshman number 16 is only about the 3rd rank of Super Saiyan. Although Kale has experienced 2 consecutive battles, there are still many energy battles that last for about a minute. Kel slammed into the chest of number 16. 16 spewed a jet, backed up, and fell to the ground with one hand on the ground. Number 16 aimed at Kale with his right hand. 16 feet's right hand flew out along with his forearm, hit Kale's dangerous egg, and Kale suffered pain and grabbed number 16 feet's forearm. As soon as Kale threw it hard, the little 16th man flew out of sight. Number 16. My arm. In the next time, number 16 was beaten by Kel and number 16 was eliminated from the same team. Ahem, now that Kale has won, I'll sing a song for everyone to celebrate. Weiss coughed and said a little excitedly. Wes, you are enough. Beerus said, it doesn't matter that there is the last person left in our universe, Vegeta will save the situation. Weiss smiled, the universal capsule in his hand has been taken out, everyone is speechless. How much do you like to sing? Just ignore him. Vados hummed, Roger, you start. Roger silently looked towards the android 16. 16 just chased his arm back from a distance and hooked up to Roger. How? Vados looked at Roger with a smile. What's the situation? How is number 16 a robot? Roger exclaimed, how could I even forget such an important thing? Did you just remember? Vados is smiling. Roger stopped talking. Give him a boost now. Vados smiled. How to improve the robot? I'm not a science. Well done. Roger looked distressed. In other words, you can't give number 16 a boost this time, can you? Vados smiled. No this time, I forgot that number 16 is a robot. Roger waved his hand. Roger, it's a good thing, don't be fooled. Vados smiled like a flower and Ruosi grinned beside her with a smile on her face. Say, again. Happiness is here again. Myers' eyes flashed with surprise. It's too lucky, isn't it? Yes, it's not that we are too lucky. Is Roger's lucky value used up? It must be one Weiss. Do you listen to me sing? Roger lost, so I can come back to the realm of 100 gods. Happy event. Not to mention how happy the 4 angels are, they just stared at Roger with a long sigh, and quickly took out his debts. Each pressed the handprint. Ruosi takes Roger's IOU and kisses when she catches it. Very moved. There are 200 true god realm. Myers was also surprised. This is Roger's IOU. For the first time in my life, I got Roger's IOU. I'm so happy. Bardos is overjoyed. 200 points in the realm of true gods. Roger would have lost 500 points if both Myers and Roses were counted. If you do it 2 more times, you will definitely be able to win the scepter back. This is the realm of our true gods. Sister, why don't you beat our main babe? Not me, can you win? Vados shouted angrily that Ruosi and Myers stopped talking. Well, can Daniu treat you badly? When I return the scepter, I will find a way to get you some real god domain. Vados stare. Ross and Myers are speechless. But think carefully about what my sister said. It's good to agree to the outside world. Then, move on to the next game. Vados greeted, there's only one player left in the 7th universe, Vegeta, so come on. Vegeta calmly flew into the ring. Game start. Vados loud Yibu. Boom. Vegeta directly turned into Super Saiyan Tier 4. Kyle has always been in the legendary Super Saiyan form. Time stop. Vados waved his big hand lightly, the flames on the scepter bloomed, and time stopped. Vados, you are enough. Roger said angrily, what do you want to do? You look angry. Woo, Mono's cute. Vados smiled and Roger's face turned black instantly. I learned this from you. Vados had a smile on his face and looked at Roger proudly. Roger, haven't you been saying that Vegeta is half your student? A few days ago, it seems that Kale's energy is running out. It will be a matter of time before Vegeta defeats Kale. But do you think Vegeta can beat the next 3? Of course, half of my students, it's normal to punch through them. Roger said lightly, if you can break through, I'll give you 100 points of true god domain. If you can't break through, you will give me 100 points of true god's domain, how about that? Vados said with a smile. It's only 100 points and 7 when I'm broken through. It's too small to play, I like to play big. Roger snorted. How much do you want to play? Asked Vados. 10 times, 1,000 points. Roger rode. Vados. How dare you play military? You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 305 Califra. This angel helps you become a god. But Vados carefully weighed it. 1,000 points is 1,000 points, this is a good opportunity. If you can really get 1,000 points from Roger's true god domain, then it's not a big problem to get your own scepter back. In addition to Myers and Ruosi's, the core of the universe has been replaced. 1,000 points or 1,000 points, or is it still an IOU? Vados asked. Right. Besides, you don't have that many real god domains, so you can return them to me in installments. Roger smiled. It's not certain who wins and who loses. Vados snorted and looked at Weiss and the others, meaning to ask me. Myers gritted his teeth, and 2 words popped out from between his teeth. I'll follow. Ruosi nodded. Well, since you all follow, I'll follow 1 too. GC also nodded in response. Who are you with? Asked Roger. Of course it's my sister, can I still be with you? Ruosi stuck out her tongue at Roger, hoping you don't regret it, it's too late to go back now. Roger persuaded. Underscore especially the two of you, Ruosi and Vados, who have already obtained my 200 IOUs from the True God domain. Do you really want to continue playing? Vados. You have provoked us so many things in 997. What are you owed to you for winning 200 points in the real God domain? Let me first declare that I deliberately lost the two just now to you, just so that you don't have to compete so awkwardly. Our relationship is not bad, and Vados and I are also lovers. Wrong, wrong, I don't like the Smurfs, Roger said solemnly. Vados glared at Roger. Whatever you say, I'll follow it anyway. Are you in a hurry to lose? You also said you deliberately lost to us. Can you intentionally lose to us? At least, Vados doesn't believe it. You have no opinion on the right. Well, let's continue the game. Roger said, 1,000 points in the realm of straight gods. Let's see if Bejikin can penetrate the sixth universe. Time to restore. Vados waved his hand gently. Immediately, time returned to normal. Bei Gun Gun, beat him with Jing Yan's slander. Roger ordered Dao Bei Gun Gun to turn his head to look at Roger, and nodded slightly. I saw Bei Gunsu's figure flickered, and suddenly appeared behind Kair. Vegeta was not polite BCB, and kicked Kair's lower back. Kair didn't have time to react at all, going forward and throwing Vegeta's right hand forward with a forceful push. Suddenly, an invisible energy burst out, directly bombarding Kair's body. Kair stumbled and fell outside the ring and was eliminated. Vegeta won easily. Vados is not surprised that Vegeta can easily defeat Kaylee. After all, Kaylee has already beaten Vegeta from Sun Wukong, and he has bottomed out after challenging the 4 energies in a row. Brother, even if Kale's strength is at its peak, he may not be able to defeat Vegeta. Next, the player Caulifla from Universe 6 will play. Vados greeted Rocaulifla. Caulifla flew up to the stage. Caulifla, come on. Ruosi waved her head towards Caulifla, and Caulifla gave Ruosi a silent look. Why are these Saiyans so popular? Why can't I? Forget it, never again, fight. Caligula rushed towards Vegeta aggressively. Vegeta sideways dodged, and slapped her right hand on the back of Caulifla's heart. On the ground, Ruosi fainted. Didn't you teach Caulifla to transform? Vados is so angry that her nose is crooked. Sister, you didn't tell me to teach her to transform. Ruosi scratched her head. You often come to the 7th universe. Don't you know that Saiyans can become stronger after they transform? Vados asked angrily. Are all Saiyans like this? Rose scratches her face. Vados. Caulifla's place is for nothing. Won't transform. What else to fight? It's okay, thanks to my good teaching of Gabe. I hope Gabe can consume some more energy of the bell tower. Kale hugs Caulifla off the stage. Gabe flew up to the stage, standing opposite Vegeta, and was a little kid. Vegeta laughs at me that I'm not a brat. Gabe snorted coldly. Gabe's whole body blooms with red flames and becomes the Super Saiyan God Vegeta, another Super Saiyan God. When did the Super Saiyan God become so worthless? It's not easy, sister. Did this player become the Super Saiyan God in 3 days? Weiss looked at Vados in surprise. Of course, your sister and I have carefully trained Gabe players. Vados smiled, but not to mention Gabe is still very talented. God made Gabe the Super Saiyan God. How did you do it? Asked Roger curiously. Roger, don't worry about how I did it. I'll ask you, is this a God-level guidance? Vados smiled. Can it be turned into Super Saiyan Blue? Asked Roger again. Of course. Vados smiled. It's good to be called Vados. Your teaching guidance to Gabe has reached the master level. Roger commented. Weiss. Myers. Roger, you're really kidding. After you messed around, you gave Vados a master level time. From an ordinary Saiyan to a Super Saiyan God, isn't it good enough? What do you mean by God level? How long it takes? Badoston came to be interested when Vegeta. Let's not let us play. If it was me, 5 minutes could turn a Saiyan who wasn't a Super Saiyan God into a Super Saiyan God. Roger said lightly, you take 3 days, it's too long. To say that you are a master is already high. However, even if it is a master level, it can only be regarded as the threshold of just entering the master level. Okay, I want to see, how do you make an ordinary Saiyan become the Super Saiyan God Vados in 5 minutes? I still don't believe it. In order to make Gabe the god of Super Saiyan, in the past 3 days, Vados took care of Gabe, and Gabe's talent was not bad. Finally, Vados was not disappointed, and changed within the stipulated time. Become a Super Saiyan God. You choose a Saiyan. Roger greeted Caulifla. Come here. Vados thought for a while and decided to choose Cauliflora. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 306 Balabala Little Devil, Transformed. Vados just thought, if he chooses the Saiyans of the 7th universe, maybe they will turn into the gods of Super Faya people, and he doesn't know them very well. Saiyans who are still enough to choose their own universe are more at ease. Knowing the bottom line, Caulifla is now awake. After hearing Vados' greeting, she quickly ran past your game and stopped for a while. Bagus, greeting to Gabe and Vegeta is ignored. We are the protagonists, okay. 200-point True God Domain, how about it? Vados smiled and said to Roger, if you can make Caulifla successfully become a Super Saiyan God within 5 minutes, I will pay 200 True God Domain. On the contrary, you will give me 200 True God Domain. Roger was silent. Shouldn't it be? Roger sighed. This is what you brought up. The smile on Vados' face is to make Roger's half-student Bei Gungan's strength greatly improved again. Vados really doesn't care about Luo but, let Caulifla become in 5 minutes. The god of Super Fias, Vados thinks that he can play with Vados' understanding of Caulifla. It is a miracle that she can become the god of Super Saiyans in 5 minutes. Vados found that Caulifla and Gabe's talents were similar, even a little better than Gabe, but even if he taught her carefully, it would take at least 2 days to turn her into a Junior Saiyan. Can God Roger turn her into a Super Saiyan God in 5 minutes? Obviously unlikely. You know, it seems that the secret child of Caulifla, under the guidance of Ruo-C, has reduced his strength, which makes it even more difficult to teach. Vados believes that in 2 days, Caulifla can be transformed into a Super Saiyan God. You must know that when Mels taught Sun Wukong before this, it took a month to make Sun Wukong become a Super Saiyan. Generally speaking, compared with Vados, Mels still has a lot to do. Of course, there is a big gap. Because it is the first time for Myers to teach the profession, it is mainly to lay the foundation for Sun Wukong. Not to mention, under the guidance of Myers, the foundation of Sun Wukong is very solid, at least in Roger's opinion. Sun Wukong already has the prototype of freedom. Who are you with? Vados asked Weiss and others. Myers gritted his teeth. 1000-point True God Domain, and I will follow the 200-point True God Domain. Ross nodded. That, I thought about it, I won't follow it this time. Weiss looked calm. Weiss, are you sure? Vados looked at Zoevis in surprise, not following. Weiss shook his head. Weiss always feels unreal in his heart. It seems that Roger is digging a big hole, waiting for his sister to jump. This time, not following. Weiss, you made the right choice. Roger smiled and said to Rose and Myers again, are you too sure you want to go with me? The two hesitated. Follow, of course. Vados made the decision directly for Ruo-C and Myers, that's enough for the two of you. Roger scare you, are you afraid? Really not out. Well, that being the case, let's get started. Roger greeted Vados with a smile on his face, get ready. There is a 5-minute hourglass Wukong, Bei Gungan, Bardock, Brawly, and Son Gohan in Vados' hands. The 5 of you come here. Greeted Roger. 5 people rushed over. Roger whispered something in their ear. Ah, it's that simple. Sun Wukong was surprised. Vejigan is also a little skeptical, looking at Roger. Bardock is even more skeptical. Brawly is in danger. What is Super Saiyan God? Isn't it still being beaten by my Xuanchao? Go ahead. Roger smiled, and then said to Vados, it's time for Vados to be confused by Roger. What kind of meaning does Roger have? What did he say when he called the five of them Sun Wukong and Bardock? It's so shameless, and the words are enchanted so that we can't hear. It's no secret. Although I thought so in my heart, Vados still put the hourglass in place as soon as possible. Vados even wanted to let the fool in the hourglass leak faster. The next moment, something happened that made Vados even more curious. I saw 5 people, Sun Wukong, Bardock, Vegeta, Sun Gohan, and Broly, who surrounded Caulifla. Go, Roger, greetings. 5 people release the light of justice at the same time. Caulifla, don't think about it, feel the justice in your heart, and silently let the justice in your heart and the justice they unleash reach a consensus. Roger said yes to Caulifla. Caulifla nodded lightly. Klemola also wants to get stronger. However, when she met an angel like Ruosi twice, she was speechless. Now that she can get the guidance of Angel Roger, Caulifla is still very excited. Balabala, little magic fairy, transform. Roger said. A flame was struck on the scepter. The flame hit Caulifla directly. Immediately, bright red flames rose from Kalahula's body. At the same time, Kalahula's hair also turned bright red. God of Saiyan. Caulifla, in front of everyone's eyes, has finally become the Super Saiyan God. Everyone present was shocked. This is done. Balabala, little fern fairy. What does it mean? Is it a spell? It's amazing. Many people hurriedly looked at the hourglass. Only 1/3 of the sand in the sandbox has been missed. In other words, it took 2 minutes for Caulifla to successfully become the Super Saiyan God J. The reason why he wanted to talk about 5 minutes was because he was worried about Bardock, Vegeta or Broly. The inner light of justice is not enough. Unexpectedly, I thought too much. For the 3 of them, the evil in their hearts has been basically eliminated. Wow, I feel like I have become so powerful. Caulifla looked excitedly at her body, and Vados's expression froze. Vados felt 10,000 vote hit damage. How did this happen? Why? Becoming a Super Saiyan God, is it that simple? This is impossible. How could this be? Everyone owes 200 points to the real God's realm. Roger reached out and returned Roger's IOU to Roger. Roger looked depressed. Can I leave this IOU as a souvenir? Add the word void to the above. Okay, Ruosi said quickly. Ding. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 307 hit. Give you a minute to defeat Vegeta. You think too much. Roger flicked his finger on the IOU with one hand. Suddenly, Ruosi's IOU disappeared and turned into slag. Roger stoned to Melch. Ghouls is about to cry. It seems that this time, I am the only one who still owes Roger 100 points in the realm of true gods. And Brother Weiss also owes it. He owes it to the audio system. Finally, there is a father at the bottom who won't beat me, right? Probably not. Father didn't hit me last time. Ghoul's self-comfort. Wes, your choice is correct, thank you for not following. Roger smiled at Jovis and nodded slightly, feeling very fortunate in his heart. Yes, Ming, fortunately did not follow. If this is followed, I will owe Roger 600 points in the real God domain. So, the game continues. 097, Roger suggested Daoji. Vados gritted his teeth, his chest heaving up and down with anger. Vegeta and Gabe return to the shaking table. Come on, kid. Vegeta beckons to Gabe. Gabe launched a violent attack on Vegeta. Vegeta takes it easy. The fight lasted about a minute. Suddenly, Gabe's hair rose high and turned into super demi-human blue. Immediately afterwards, Gabe increased his speed and greeted Vegeta's face. When it landed on Vegeta, Vegeta lightly blocked with his hand and blocked Gabe's fist with his hand. What? Gabe's face changed color. The corner of Vegeta's mouth raised a shallow arc, and he kicked Gabe on the body. Suddenly, Gabe's body flew backwards. Vegeta flew up. Vegeta's school leader hit Gabe hard in the face. The next moment, Vegeta swept his right foot lightly, came to a sweeping retreat, swept Gabe to the ground, and Vegeta kicked Gabe with a big kick. Gabe crossed an arc in midair and fell outside the stage. Gabe, defeated. DOS. Not so good. How did Vegeta become so powerful? It's normal, Vegeta is half of Roger's student, how can he not be strong? Vados took a deep breath. However, if Vegeta wants to defeat Hit, it's not very likely. At this time, Gabe flew to the bottom of the table and looked at Vegeta silently. Why, do you think you were wronged? Vegeta asked with a smile as she crossed her double Venus. Yes, I think my Super Saiyan Blue should not lose to you. Gabe gritted his teeth. You are right, Super Saiyan Blue does have the strength comparable to that of Super Saiyan Tier 4. But don't forget, you've only just turned Super Demi-Human Blue. If you divide the Super Saiyan into 3 stages, yours is only the first stage, and my Super Saiyan is the 4th stage, but it has reached the middle stage, how can you possibly beat me? Gabe stopped talking. Also, do you think you can defeat me by fighting me in Super Saiyan God state, and then suddenly hitting me with Super Saiyan Blue smoke? You are so naive. Vegeta smiled and said thank you, I understand. Gabe bowed and saluted. In the latter match, Hit from Universe 6 played against Vegeta from Universe 7. Weiss said that Hit, wearing a purple coat, set foot on the drawing table slowly. Vegican's expression also became serious. From the moment he saw Hit, Vegeta felt that the strength of this Birdman was not simple and must not be underestimated. Game start, Weiss exclaimed. Time stop. Vados hastily made a time stop. Vados, don't make trouble, the last game, can you watch the game well? Roger reprimanded. Roger, you also said that this is the last game, so, you said that Vegeta will win in the end, right? Vados asked with a smile. Of course, 1,000 points of the True God realm are all bet, what else is there to say? Roger nodded. How about we play one last time? Didn't Vados play all his smiles? How else to play? Roger suddenly felt that women are really troublesome. You still play. Bardos, please have a snack. Very simple, the winner will be decided within a minute. Vados smiled slightly. I said, Hit will destroy Vegeta in 1 minute. Do you believe it or not? Don't believe it. Roger shook his head. 1,000 points I owe you with the Realm of God, dare you? Vados smiled confidently. Vados, you are really bloated. Roger sighed, if you win, you can get 2,000 real God realm at once. Each other, if I lose, I will also pay 2,000 points. Vados is a little too hard to wink at Ruo Roger, right? Your father knows so much, so he won't beat Myers, right? Sway aside and forgotten. Myers. I am so innocent. It's obvious that Sister Vados is gambling. Does it have anything to do with me? Don't change the subject, just say you agree or disagree. Asked Vados. Vados, you really embarrass me. You say that if I win, you owe a lot of debt, how can you pay it back? Roger sighed. It's okay, I can install it. Vados hummed, actually, I also thought about it, this can also urge me to cultivate and lead the gods, right? If you rob it, you must also cultivate the true God realm well. You are so right, it will be settled so quickly. Roger paused. Do you follow? Vados greeted Weiss, Ruo and Myers. I follow. Myers is cruel. Anyway, I have just bet 1,000 points in the realm of the true gods, and it is not worse than 1,000 points in the realm of the real gods 5.8. Besides, Myers also heard that Hit will control the time. Within minutes, it shouldn't be a big problem to defeat the bell tower. As long as Hit controls the time very well, I believe there will be no problems. Well, I will also participate. Weiss nodded and decided to follow. In the past 3 days, Vegeta did not have special training with you Roger, so Weiss and Myers thought the same. As long as Hit controlled the time well, it was absolutely possible. Knockout Bay Yanta. I follow. Ruo can't be left behind, can he? I also think Hit is strong. All right, then it's a deal. Vados smiled, and the scepter flashed in his hand. Time recovered. Hit, give you a minute to knock Vegeta out of the ring 1, Vados ordered. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 308 Vegeta, I can regenerate. Yes. Hit heads. Wait a moment. Roger has spoken. Roger, is there anything else to add? Vados laughs and asks Hit to be a killer, right? Killer's greatest advantage is to kill. Roger pondered, so, as long as Hit can kill Vegeta in 1 minute, you will be considered a winner. Are you right, Roger? Vegeta is half your student. Vados asked Roger in surprise, how dare you say? But in this way, Vados was a little excited. Hit is the killer, as Roger said. Killers are used to kill people, and the nature of the competition will greatly reduce his strength. Roger smiled at Vegican. Thanks, then I'm welcome. Hit nodded slightly. Okay, start timing. Sui Jia Dao. Just after Roger's voice fell, Hit also moved immediately. In just 12 seconds, Hitter disappeared. The next moment, Hit suddenly appeared behind Vegeta. Puff! Hit's fingers penetrated Vegeta's back. Vegican's body shivered violently, and blood spurted out of his mouth to kill him. All the players present were stunned. Hit, it's horrible. Was it one move that killed Vegeta? Also, how does he move the day? What a great speed, Vic said in a deep voice. I can't see how he moved at all. I didn't see it either. Goku's face was sweating. Sun Wukong can be sure that if he confronts Hit, he will surely die. In the ring. His heart has been pierced. Do you want to continue beating? Hit asked indifferently. However, just after Hit's voice fell, I saw Bayanta suddenly turn around gorgeously and grabbed Hit's arm. The next moment, I saw that the corners of Vegeta's mouth evoked a shallow arc. At the same time, what was Vegeta's heart reversing? Hit's face changed color. Vegican's knee slammed hard against Hit's body. Hit spewed out a mouthful of sour water, feeling that the whole person was not well, and almost knelt down, and Vegeta kicked Hit with a big kick. Hit soars high. Vegican's figure flickered and appeared directly above Hit, his hands folded, and the bombardment rumbled on Hitter's body. Hit's body slammed heavily on the drawing table. Immediately, the drawing table appeared to be cracked, and the cracks spread to all directions. Vegeta slowly landed on Hit's side, with a faint smile on his face. Hitter gritted his teeth and struggled to stand up. You can regenerate. Hit's face kept changing. Good. Vegeta smiled. Running out of time. Vados is also pale. Roger is too cunning. He knew that Vegeta would regenerate, so he deliberately lured Hit to use his ultimate move. Vados slapped his forehead. I forgot about Vegeta's rebirth. Missteps. Especially, don't talk nonsense with him, there's almost no time, don't kill him, hurry up and find a way to knock him out of the ring. Vados is anxious. Hit nodded. Flash time. Hit's flash time skill was displayed again. Under the sway, Hit appeared behind Vegeta. Immediately afterwards, Hit bombarded Vegeta on the back of the head, but he couldn't kill him, so he hit him, and then threw him out of the platform. However, just when Hit's fist was about to hit the back of Vegeta's head, Vegeta suddenly turned around in a gorgeous way, and Vegeta's big hand suddenly blocked Hit's raised head. What? Hit's eyes widened, and he turned to Vegeta in disbelief. How is this possible? Myers was also shocked. How did he know that Hit's fist would be in that direction? Ruosi even widened her beautiful eyes, and Vegeta gave a smug smile on her face. Humph, flash time, right. Maybe you don't know. A year ago, Roger stopped in order to practice his time, but he did not change me. In order to avoid getting hits, I can easily predict Roger's attack position, and I want to beat me with a pediatric attack like Hit. I asked him to poke at him before and after, I just wanted to give you a little hope. You really think that I am going to be goon? Bah, my Vegeta will lose. Weiss, ghouls. The faces of the four angels changed color together. They've read Vegeta's mind. It turned out that Roger had practiced Vegeta's practice in terms of stopping time a year ago, so shameless. Have you set it up for so long? Luo. Why do I want to lay out? I'm just practicing root and rolling, and it was you who delivered it to your door, okay. At this time, the last grain of sand fell. Vegeta is still on the drawing stage and has not been eliminated by Hit. Vados Myers is over. It's over. 1,000 points of True God domain lost 490. However, if Hit can win next, it can be a draw. However, looking at the situation on the scene, Hit doesn't seem to be Vegeta's opponent. From the point of view of energy intensity, Hit and Vegeta are still a little far behind. At present, Vegeta will win. Look carefully, Vegeta can defeat Zot in less than a minute at most. Roger said with a smile, of course, this is your last chance. You can raise your bet. If Vegeta can't do it, I'll give you 2,000 True God domain, which means that you don't owe it. If you do, you just need to give me another 1,000 True God domain. That is, 3,000 points per person. Vados moved in his heart. Weiss was also a little shaken. Myers complains. It's over this time. My father will definitely kill me. Follow or not? Why don't you follow? It's just, I'm not following, it's not good. Sister and brother they all followed. I didn't follow, I just lost 2,000 points. They lost 3,000 points and, in case they win, only I owe. Roger Myers thought a lot for a while. I followed. Myers gritted his teeth and clenched his head. I don't follow. Weiss shook his head. Neither do I. Vados smiled bitterly. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 309 Great Harvest in the Realm of True God. Ah, Brother Weiss and Sister Vados are not with you, so neither will I. What's the matter with Josie? Why aren't you following? Are you too much? I have followed. You are not being kind. Okay, the deal. Roger nodded and smiled at Myers. Myers, can you still be brave and I can cancel? Myers is about to cry. I thought my sister and brother were going to follow. You don't follow, I follow Wool. Myers, you have to have your own boss, don't follow your sister and brother. Roger taught, since you have decided to follow, you should follow bravely and this time, I will release the water properly. I don't believe in letting you win against Myers. You lied to me. Give you a second to think about whether to follow or not. Roger said hello, I'll talk to you. Myers gritted his teeth and made a decision. Myers, don't be stupid. Vados advised. Obviously, now it seems that Vegeta is definitely capable of solving the battle within a minute. Weiss said solemnly to Hit. I was watched. I have decided, I have to make my own judgment. I follow. Myers made up his mind that the more you don't let me follow, I'll follow. Great, Myers. Roger smiled and winked at Vegeta in the ring. Vegeta understood. Okay, the timer starts. Roger greeted. Minutes later. Hit is still on the stage. Vados Myers' eyes widened, and some couldn't believe the last grain of sand that fell. I swallowed. Mers was pleasantly surprised. The three angels of Vados stopped talking. Roger, let the water go straight. It shouldn't. Why put water in? I said it, I will put the water properly. Diaresis. Roger patted Myers on the shoulder and said with a smile, look at how good it is to have your own opinions and then win the game. In this way, you are the only one who owes me 1,000 points, but they all owe me 2,000 points. Why water? Roger feels that swallowing is a bit too much today. Proper watering is also a good thing. Roger is still very clear about the principle of accepting it when you see it. When the Grand Shrine comes to the door, Roger can say, I finally gave them a chance. Except for Mel's, they will not participate. Who can blame this kind of thing? Of course, in Roger's case, if all four of them participated in Roger's last gambling game, they would not have let the water go. Make a lot of money all of a sudden, isn't it delicious? Myers. After all, I still owe 1,000 points. You owe me the least. Your dad won't hit you this time, right? Roger smiled slightly. Ghouls didn't whistle. Don't you mention my dad, okay? Okay, Bay Gun, you can clean him up. Roger ordered to Vegeta. Great, I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. The corner of Vegeta's mouth raised a hope that Vegeta went up and slapped Hit. Hit gets knocked out. In this competition, the 7th universe won. Vegeta punches through 4 people in Universe 6. Start clearing. Roger Road. Vegas. Weiss. So sad to remind Vados, you owe me 2,000 points in the field of gods. Roger said, shook out an IOU, and handed it to Vados. Vados is bleeding 2,000 points. This is the 2,000 point true god realm. When do I have to? I have practiced for thousands of years, and I have only practiced less than 1,000 points. Vados glanced at the IOU and burst into tears again. The IOU said that half of the true god domain must be repaid every year. In other words, even if you don't practice this year, you only have 10 points in the realm of the true gods, and you have to pay back 5 points to Roger. The creditor has the final say. Vados is not easy to deny, he signed it immediately, pressed the handprint. Vados ran quickly. Big loss this time. Vados thought about it carefully. It seems that the first 2 times, Roger really deliberately lost to himself. As a result, I was dazzled by the victory, and I actually became a sister. Wait for me. Joshua. Ruo-C, don't worry, this is your IOU. As Roger said, Ning issued an IOU and handed it to Ruo-C. Zoe is angry. Just when Ruo-C wanted to destroy the IOU. You don't want to destroy this thing, you will be punished by God if you destroy it. Roger smiled, but Ruo-C thought about it and suddenly looked at Roger with a smile. Why don't I marry you? I don't need to pay back in the realm of God, okay. Ruo-C turns her bright eyes and big eyes to think beautifully. Even if you marry me, you have to continue to repay your realm of straight gods. Roger shouted angrily. The next moment, Ruo-C pressed her handprint and signed her name. Roger ran away quickly and looked at Wes. Wes behaved a lot calmer. With the IOU handed over by Roger, the signature was put on the handprint. In Wes' view, at least his own universe has won, and the Universe Heart School is back, which is a good thing. Les, your final choice is correct. You see, you just owe me 1100 true god domain. Roger handed the IOU up. Myers was a little moved. Ming, if it wasn't for Roger's release, he would have composed more. After Goals signed the IOU, he bowed to Wes, and then left Angel. Roger, the core of our universe. Good job. Zhao. Champa held the core of the 6th universe with both hands with a painful expression on his face. Very good. Roger nodded and took the core. The core of the universe is not big, just the size of a Dragon Ball. The core of the 6th universe is like a 4-star Dragon Ball. The 4 stars in the Dragon Ball are slowly turning. The moment Roger touched the core of the universe, he felt the endless energy brought by the core. This is normal. The core of the universe gathers the entire universe, and it is strange that there is no energy. Of course, this energy is nothing to Roger. Roger put the core of the universe into the alien space. Well, we also say goodbye. The elephant saluted Roger. By the way, why do you owe me the core of the universe for so long and haven't paid it back? Roger suddenly looked at Champa with stern eyes. Champa couldn't help shivering. Get out. Roger slapped you. Champa. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 310 The Resurrected Frieza. Elephant Paw is flying. Beerus' panting lips trembled, his face pale with fright. I owe Roger's core of the universe for a while, and he kicked me away to provoke Roger like I did before. I won't be killed by him, right? Beerus trembled with fear. Especially in the process of the game just now, Beerus trembled with fright when he heard the old Realm King talk about the experience of the Realm God Shin. What do I have to do so that Roger will forgive me? Weiss, 1000 points in the realm of true gods. Change your core of the universe, can you change it? Roger laughed so shamelessly. This time Roger threw out 2 cosmic cores, and the victorious core returned the result, but Roger got more than 7,000 IOUs in the realm of straight gods. Even if he transferred it to Roger, Roger could also get 3,000 more. If there were really so many real god domains, Roger would definitely be ranked number 1 in the angel ranking, and Weiss was suddenly moved. The core of the universe is not very useful to Weiss, why not change it? Forget it, what's the use of me wanting the 487 core of the 7th universe? You keep it. Roger patted Weiss' shoulder with a faint smile on his face. Alright, back. Roger waved. Roger's hand has an extra transparent cube. Those who want to return to the Earth have come up. Roger greets. Vegeta, Monkey King, Broly and others stepped onto the cube one by one. The cubes slowly fly into the sky. In this competition, apart from Bei Gun Gun, you guys have disappointed me too much. Roger sighed. Of course, everyone who knows me already knows. I said that Beerus would destroy you, obviously to scare you. However, if you lose the game, you will be punished. Roger increased the speed to the extreme, and the people in the spiral flying blocks turned one by one. Vegeta Bodok Broly. You let the 3 of us go. Does it have anything to do with us? To let the 3 of you participate is to tell you that you are a whole, and you will be prosperous, and you will lose all of Roger's reprimands. The sky suddenly changed from day to night. People of Qi Longzhu, say your wish, I can fulfill any wish. Dragon to the human who gathered the Dragon Balls below. Shenlong, please revive Lord Frieza, who has been dead for many years, can you do it? A blue short fat man made a wish to He Shenlong. In addition to the short fat man, there is also an epidemic high beside him. Of course, the dragon is omnipotent. Shenlong's look on his face. Then ask the dragon to resurrect Lord Frieza. The blue short fat man hurriedly said yes. Shenlong said, red light flashing in his eyes. Accompanied by the sound of a dragon roar, Frieza's figure immediately appeared at the scene. Frieza, the former emperor of the universe, finally resurrected. Wish came true, goodbye. After Shenlong finished speaking, it turned into a golden beam, quickly disappeared from the sky, and restored the Ming dynasty. Meet Frieza-sama. The short fat man hurriedly knelt down and bowed. Laugh. I'm resurrected. Frieza looked at her body in disbelief, and seemed to be completely healed. Who are you? Frieza looked at Dumpty with his triangle eyes. His subordinate is Solb, the former chief of staff of the Eastern Corps. Humpty Dumpty kneels down and salutes. It was the offline who worked hard to collect the Dragon Balls and brought you back to life, Your Excellency. Oh, is it? Frieza smiled. What time is it now? Frieza, 39 Solby replied _. So I've been dead for 5 years. Frieza's eyelids are a bit ugly BC, and asks, why did it take so long to bring me back to life? Solby, resurrecting you, you still have so many things. Because the process of finding Dragon Ball is too cumbersome, Namek is also difficult to find because of the move. It was at the risk of his life that when Vegeta Hill opened the earth, he summoned the dragon, and let the dragon revive your Sol Beijing's answer. Where's my dad? Frieza asked. Then, wait until the next time the Dragon Ball is played, and then revive the Kurdish king. Solb said quickly. Don't worry about resurrecting my dad. Frieza rubbed her fingers, smiled lightly, circled her surroundings, and asked again, this is Dizuo. Yes, Lord Fleet. Sorbet seemed to realize something. His face changed color. Let's leave now, Frieza, Vegeta might be back soon. Vegeta. Is it great? Frieza is a little upset. He was killed by Vegeta. Thinking of this, the blue veins on Frieza's forehead burst out. Yes, Lord Frieza, Vegeta's strength has grown by leaps and bounds in recent years. I heard that he and the Saiyan named Sun Wukong also defeated the Lien Bu. The tall man next to Solb quickly said that this is Tagma, and his strength is comparable to that of Captain Riot. Solb introduced Bu. Frieza smiled softly. My dad told me once, don't mess with that guy. This shows how powerful Vegeta is. Tagma nodded and snorted. Your strength is comparable to Ginyu. Frieza rolled towards Tagma with a smile. I have never seen Ginyu, but I think my strength should be similar to his, even in above him. Tagma is just so confident. Ginyu. Frieza snorted coldly, and pointed her hand at Tagma's confused face. What do you mean by pointing your hand at me? Are you straight and strong? A red flame flew out from Fletcher's fingers and hit Tagma's body directly. Tagma's expression was a little confused. What is this? But then, Tagma found that her body was suspended uncontrollably. What happened? Tagama's face changed color. Body good. Tagma's body turned into a cloud of blood in the air. Well, the strength is really good, it can be Megumi. Fliza nodded lightly. And you killed people, are you just trying to prove Tagma's strength? Let's go. Smiling, Frieza stepped aboard the spaceship Solby. Fortunately, Lord Frieza has no dipping sauce to stay on Earth. If you stay on Earth and find Vegeta's troubles, then we are really dead. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 311 Bulma's research results on the realm of true God. The spaceship soared into the sky and entered the vast space. Your Excellency Frieza, what are your plans next? Sorbet asked HMPH. I'm a genius. This time in that disgusting hell, I realized a new realm. 4 months. I only need to practice for 4 months, and I will definitely be able to kill Beige Tower. Frieza clenched her head and stretched out 4 more fingers. Your Excellency Frieza, do you mean you want revenge? What's with the sweat on Solb's face? Do you have an opinion? Freepan turned to Suerb with a smile. No, haha, no. Of course not, Solb said quickly. Veggie-chan, Sun Wukong, you wait for me. Frieza clenched her fists, her forehead bulged, and Luo. To keep you all right. Roger dragged the block and landed on the earth. Veggie-chan and the others came out of the cube, lying on the ground and vomited all wrinkled and scattered. Roger waved his hand, turned into a colorful flame, quickly disappeared, and Roger returned to Bulma's home. Roger, you come back to bite. Bulma greeted quickly. Well, with the expression on your eyelids, has something happened to the earth? Roger asked. Yes, someone cobbled together the Dragon Balls and fulfilled their wishes, not ours. Bulma nodded. Roger's scepter appeared in his hand. Immediately, a scene of Frieza's resurrection was cast in the scepter. Is it Frieza? Is he resurrected? Bulma was slightly taken aback. Whatever he does, predict that he will come to seek revenge for Vegeta in 4 months. Roger took back the scepter. 4 months. Can he surpass Vegeta? Bulma was a little surprised. Sui Jia smiled. Forget it, leave him alone. Bulma smiled, looked at Roger and said, I have good news here, how can you reward me? Are you here, Auntie? Roger asked. What good news is this? Bulma was at a loss for words for a while. I am a god, and there is really no good news to be happy about. Roger sighed slightly. Bulma didn't know what to say. What reward do you want? Roger didn't object. Rewarding Bulma, he is more willing. As long as Roger can do things, he will generally not refuse, and I seem to lack everything. Bulma thought about it. Forget it, I'll talk about it later. Roger really didn't think Bulma could have any good news in his mouth. Roger, this news is really about you. Bulma said, it's about the realm of true gods, Have you figured out how to cultivate or acquire the realm of straight gods? Roger asked if. Bulma wiped sweat. I'll say it's not very likely. If you can even study how to obtain the real god domain, Bulma, you will really become a super god. Roger smiled. But Roger, although I haven't researched how to obtain the true god domain, I found through research that absorbing the external true god domain can reduce the loss to 30%. 30% reduction. Roger was slightly taken aback. Roger, you won't need to waste 50% of the true god domain after absorbing it. Now I only need to waste 30% of this research, or even less. Bulma smiled and said, in the future, can you make 100% absorption of your true god domain, without a drop of waste. Is there such a thing? Roger is also a little surprised. It hasn't been fully confirmed yet. It needs to be done. Roger, you let me do the experiment on you. You'll be fine, right? Asked Bulma. I am an angel, let you as an experiment, you dare to say. Need me to do 7 inches? Asked Roger. Although Roger would be fine even if he was treated as a test subject, but Roger didn't want to be treated as a guinea pig. You don't need to do anything. You just need to lie on the instrument without clothes, and provide a little real God domain from the outside world, and you can conduct a simple experiment. Bulma said, however, I may be a little busy by myself. However, the robot assistant is not intelligent enough, and I have to ask my father to help. Luo. By the way, I do have a suitable candidate to be a guinea pig. Roger suddenly endured something. Ask for flowers. Who is it? Asked Bulma. Ruosi. Roger rode. Ross. It's alright, but, if my father is also present, Ruosi is an angel, but she's a girl after all, isn't it inappropriate? Bulma pondered. Also, Ruosi Junxia was seen by my father, she won't kill us all, right? Let me be your assistant. The required operation is not allowed, right? Roger also felt it was inappropriate, so he decided to show Hitatsuka Ruosi himself. You are responsible to people. Bulma pouted and she's going to be responsible. Don't make trouble. Roger shook his head. We grew up together, and I saw a lot when she wasn't wearing any clothes. Roger said that, in fact, he didn't see Ruosi's whole body, only Ruosi in the shape of a fruit. A fruit? What is there to see? Bulma, are you childhood sweethearts? If Roger is a helper, then there is no problem. When can we start? Asked Bulma. I first ask Ruosi when she will come. Roger said. The crystal ball on the scepter flickered a few times and dialed the number on Ruosi's side. Ruosi had just returned to the planet where she had practiced, and the sun was looking at the south, so she was silently fascinated. Why should she look at the south? That's because the position that Ruosi is looking at is exactly where the 11th universe is. Why is it the 11th universe? Ruosi has nothing to do with the 11th officer. That's because Ruosi's sense of direction is too bad, and mistakenly thinks that the direction she sees is the 7th universe. Lost so bad this time. 2,000 points in the realm of true gods. What a tragedy. Just when Ruosi was a little sad, Ruosi's scepter vibrated and Ruosi sensed that Roger was calling, and after biting her voice, her molars connected to the video. 1,000 what? Looking for me? Ruosi asked dangerously. Ruosi, your sister, your 7th aunt and 8 aunts are not around, right? Roger asked. No. Joss hummed. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 311 Bulma's research results on the realm of true God. The spaceship soared into the sky and entered the vast space. Your Excellency Frieza, what are your plans next? Sorbet asked HMPH. I'm a genius. This time in that disgusting hell, I realized a new realm. 4 months. I only need to practice for 4 months, and I will definitely be able to kill Beige Tower. Frieza clenched her head and stretched out 4 more fingers. Your Excellency Frieza, do you mean? You want revenge? What's with the sweat on Solb's face? Do you have an opinion? Freepin turned to Suerb with a smile. No, haha, no. Of course not. Solb said quickly. Beggy-chan. Sun Wukong. You wait for me. Frieza clenched her fists, her forehead bulged, and Luo. To keep you all right. Roger dragged the block and landed on the earth. Veggican and the others came out of the cube, lying on the ground and vomited all wrinkled and scattered. Roger waved his hand, turned into a colorful flame, quickly disappeared, and Roger returned to Bulma's home. Roger, you come back to bite. Bulma greeted quickly. Well, with the expression on your eyelids, has something happened to the earth? Roger asked. Yes, someone cobbled together the Dragon Balls and fulfilled their wishes, not ours. Bulma nodded. Roger's scepter appeared in his hand. Immediately, a scene of Frieza's resurrection was cast in the scepter. Is it Frieza? Is he resurrected? Bulma was slightly taken aback. Whatever he does, predict that he will come to seek revenge for Vegeta in 4 months. Roger took back the scepter. 4 months. Can he surpass Vegeta? Bulma was a little surprised. Sui Jia smiled. Forget it, leave him alone. Bulma smiled, looked at Roger and said, I have good news here. How can you reward me? Are you here, Auntie? Roger asked. What good news is this? Bulma was at a loss for words for a while. I am a god, and there is really no good news to be happy about. Roger sighed slightly. Bulma didn't know what to say. What reward do you want? Roger didn't object. Rewarding Bulma, he is more willing. As long as Roger can do things, he will generally not refuse, and I seem to lack everything. Bulma thought about it. Forget it, I'll talk about it later. Roger really didn't think Bulma could have any good news in his mouth. Roger, this news is really about you. Bulma said, it's about the realm of true gods, Have you figured out how to cultivate or acquire the realm of straight gods? Roger asked if. Bulma wiped sweat. I'll say it's not very likely. If you can even study how to obtain the real god domain, Bulma, you will really become a super god. Roger smiled. But Roger, although I haven't researched how to obtain the true god domain, I found through research that absorbing the external true god domain can reduce the loss to 30%. 30% reduction. Roger was slightly taken aback. Roger, you won't need to waste 50% of the true god domain after absorbing it. Now I only need to waste 30% of this research, or even less. Bulma smiled and said, in the future, can you make 100% absorption of your true god domain, without a drop of waste. Is there such a thing? Roger is also a little surprised. It hasn't been fully confirmed yet. It needs to be done. Roger, you let me do the experiment on you. You'll be fine, right? Asked Bulma. I am an angel, let you as an experiment, you dare to say. Need me to do 7 inches? Asked Roger. Although Roger would be fine even if he was treated as a test subject, but Roger didn't want to be treated as a guinea pig. You don't need to do anything. You just need to lie on the instrument without wearing clothes, and provide a little real god domain from the outside world, and you can carry out a simple experiment. Bulma said, however, I may be a little busy by myself. However, the robot assistant is not intelligent enough, and I have to ask my father to help. Luo. By the way, I do have a suitable candidate to be a guinea pig. Roger suddenly endured something. Ask for flowers. Who is it? Asked Bulma. Ruosi. Roger rode. Ross. It's alright. But, if my father is also present, Ruosi is an angel, but she's a girl after all, isn't it inappropriate? Bulma pondered. Also, Ruosi Junxia was seen by my father, she won't kill us all, right? Let me be your assistant. The required operation is not allowed, right? Roger also felt it was inappropriate, so he decided to show Hitatsuka Ruosi himself. You are responsible to people. Bulma pouted and she's going to be responsible. Don't make trouble. Roger shook his head, we grew up together, and I saw a lot when she wasn't wearing any clothes. Roger said that, in fact, he didn't see Ruosi's whole body, only Ruosi in the shape of a fruit. A fruit, what is there to see? Bulma, are you childhood sweethearts? If Roger is a helper, then there is no problem, when can we start? Asked Bulma. I first ask Ruosi when she will come. Roger said. The crystal ball on the scepter flickered a few times and dialed the number on Ruosi's side. Ruosi had just returned to the planet where she had practiced, and the sun was looking at the south, so she was silently fascinated. Why should she look at the south? That's because the position that Ruosi is looking at is exactly where the 11th universe is. Why is it the 11th universe? Ruosi has nothing to do with the 11th officer. That's because Ruosi's sense of direction is too bad, and mistakenly thinks that the direction she sees is the 7th universe. Lost so bad this time. 2,000 points in the realm of true gods. What a tragedy. Just when Ruosi was a little sad, Ruosi's scepter vibrated and Ruosi sensed that Roger was calling, and after biting her voice, her molars connected to the video. 1,000 what? Looking for me? Ruosi asked dangerously. Ruosi, your sister, your 7th aunt and 8 aunts are not around, right? Roger asked. No. Joss hummed. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 312 Wukong's Freedom. You seem angry, Roger said again. In fact, Roger thinks about it too. It's strange if Ruosi is not angry. If it is someone who has lost so many true god domains, he will not be happy. Don't be angry yet. In fact, Ruosi, our relationship, can I ask you if you want the realm of the real god? Roger said seriously. Do you really want my realm with God? Rose asked. For specifics, you can come to meet us. Roger wrote. Meet and chat. Can you destroy the IOU in your hand in front of me? Asked Rose. What did you say? The signal is not good. Your power is too short. Come and talk. Roger hung up the phone after he finished speaking. Ruosi bit her lip and thought for a while, and decided to go to a world. Perhaps, Roger's heart softened for a while, and he could really exempt himself from the 2,000 points of the real god domain. 4, 3, 3, Ruosi turned into a colorful flame, broke through the void, rushed to the sky and flew for 5 minutes. Cake. The direction is wrong, this is the 11th universe. As soon as Ruosi patted her forehead, she turned around and walked away. You thought, if you come here to be a guinea pig, will I exempt you from the 2000 direct spirit realm? After the phone call, Roger began to wait patiently for Ruosi's arrival. Ruosi hadn't come yet, but Sun Wukong came first. Roger, according to the agreement, I can turn into Super Saiyan Blue now. When can I practice with Ruo? Sun Wukong looked at Roger excitedly. Goku, what does it mean to you to be powerful? Roger looked at Sun Wuxi and asked, and it hurts my brain. I used the Super Saiyan's blue energy on Kair, but it didn't help. I need a stronger, more powerful force. Sun Wukong scratched his head and said, I'm going to surpass Bagby. I'm going to surpass my father and Brawly. You said that energy is fighting power. Roger smiled. Who said that? Be rolling. Frieza. That kind of thing can't be used as the standard for effective impulse. Roger continued. Monkey King was a little confused. Shouldn't this kind of thing be used as a standard for title? So what can be regarded as the standard of balance? Learning martial arts is not to win against others, but to beat yourself. Roger said indifferently, if you lose yourself because of the power of the other party, you are the Monkey King who will never be able to mature. Listen silently and seem to realize something. The same people, how can the gap between each other be so big? As a result, Vegeta couldn't listen at all. Or even if you listen to Jinyan, you can't absorb the inner meaning of it. So far, Wukong, what have you learned from your masters? Roger asked Sun Wukong again as if there was a flash of inspiration in his mind. Suddenly, there are several masters who have taught him in the Shihai of Sun Wukong. You have too many extra movements, so you can't breathe very quickly. Said Immortal Jeline. It is as quiet as the sky when defending, and faster than thunder and lightning when attacking. Mr. Bobo and Tenshinto, if you want to be the number one in the universe, you must not only exercise your body, but also hone your heart. The king said that Sun Wukong closed his eyes. You can't act after thinking with your mind, you have to let your body hit its own judgment and act directly. Roger's voice also sounded in Sun Wukong's mind immediately, and Sun Wukong suddenly opened his eyes. Roger, I. Sun Wukong seems to have a feeling. Wukongan, eat well, sleep well, play well, study well, have you done it? Roger smiled, this is what the old turtle said, do you remember? Ah, just study hard for a bit. Sun Wukong was stunned for a moment, then he hurriedly smiled and chased after me and attacked me with all his strength. Roger beckons to the bitter Monkey King. Really? Can I really? Sun Wukong was surprised and Roger nodded. Boom. Son Goku turns into Super Saiyan Blue. The next moment, Sun Wukong launched a violent attack on Roger. Roger simply closed his eyes and easily dodged the past minute. How do you feel? Asked Roger. Thank you so much for cooking. Roger Angel, the spirit of Sun Wukong's sun flickered, and his eyes were full of shock. Go for it. Roger waved his hand and nodded his head in satisfaction. Suji felt more and more that Sun Wukong's talent was really unusual. Maybe if there is a child of destiny, Sun Wukong is the real candidate. In fact, Roger thought about it carefully. Sun Wukong. It should be the 4-star Dragon Ball that the Son of Destiny Sun Wukong has been in contact with since childhood, which is very similar to the core of the 6th universe. The 6th universe is the companion universe of the 7th universe. All of this shows that Sun Wukong has a different destiny from other human beings. Sun Wukong waved goodbye and left through teleportation. Just for a moment, Sun Wukong appeared beside Bardock Kakarot. Bardock was slightly taken aback. Dad. Sun Wuxi nodded and waved to Jine again. Mom is here too. Kakarot, have you eaten yet? Jine asked. There is no evil in his heart anymore, so Bardock let him go out and live independently. His mother, so don't worry about eating. I came here this time to discuss with my father. Sun Wuxi smiled and asked me to discuss. Bardock was stunned. Kakarot, we have just returned from the planet Beerus. I also watched your game. You can become a Super Saiyan. Blue is indeed stronger than before, but compared with Vegeta's brush, there is still a certain gap. Even though Bardock said that, but his heart is full of emotion. Unconsciously, Kakarot has grown to this height. She lie, I have to work hard. Otherwise, Kakarot will catch up one day. I don't know, can I beat Bei Gun Gun now? The 4th tier of Super Saiyan, it should not be as good as my Super Saiyan God of 24 people. I have practiced for 1,000 years. Bardock so comforted himself. As for whether he can defeat Bei Yanta, Bardock actually can't tell Dad. I'm going to attack. Sun Wukong greeted. All right, come here. Bardock nodded, looking at Sun Wukong with a little surprise. What? Why don't you change yourself? Wait a minute. Sun Wukong closed his eyes and took a deep breath. Sun Wukong's body is wickedly emitting the breath of God. At the same time, Sun Wukong's whole body burst into bright colorful flames. When he looked at it again, Sun Wukong's hair was slightly raised. However, Sun Wukong's hair did not change color, and Bardock, who was still black, was stunned. Bardock looked at Sun Wukong without blinking. What is this change? Bardock was stunned. Remember to save the unique domain name of bqg789.com and enjoy high-speed reading. NLT, P and GT. Reminder. If the content of the chapter is not displayed in the browser reading mode, click refresh, find the bottom setting menu, enter the setting menu and click exit free reading mode to read at high speed for free. The free reading mode of all browsers will affect the display. Try to exit the free reading mode as much as possible, and the reading experience will be better. Chapter 313 Bulma. Roger, you don't know girls at all. 30 minutes passed before Ruosi appeared in Bulma's house on Earth. Ruosi, you've come, I've been waiting for you for a long time. Roger greeted Ruosi to sit down, and gestured with his eyes to Bulma and Bulma to immediately bring out the 9th class food to entertain. This is so delicious, right? Ruosi was surprised to eat the 9th class food, her face was full of intoxication. The 9th class food is of course delicious. Roger smiled. What? 9th class food? Did you make a mistake? Ruosi is stunned that it is really a 9th class food. Roger smiled. You deserve it, after you taste the clock carefully. Really, this is actually true. Ruosi nodded vigorously, her eyes filled with questions. Why am I only eating the 9th class food on Earth now? When I came to Earth before, I never ate it. How can that be possible? Did it exist on Earth before, or not? Rose began to think. Ruosi, why did it take you so long to eat the 9th class food on Earth? Roger asked the same question. Why? Ruosi asked in confusion. It's not convenient for me to say it yourself. Roger shook his head. Do you mean, Sister Vados or Brother Weiss, they won't let me eat it? I didn't say anything in Ruosi's heart. Roger said quickly. Jose actually believed. Why did they do this? If Ruosi lost her voice, I don't know what's going on. Roger sighed, but I think, Uranus have such a high level of angel power. Tell me, can other angels not be jealous of us? No jealousy, right? They are all mocking that our angelic power is very high, difficult to digest, and even less able to perfectly control. Ruosiju shaking his head. Not so stupid that he can't even distinguish such a problem. Otherwise, I would not have the power of the angel is too high to come to you. Ruosi, I really don't know what to say about you. Roger sighed and said, you said it directly. Ruosi hummed. Ruosi, tell yourself, what does the power of an angel represent? Asked Roger. What does it mean? What does it mean? Ruosi is puzzled. Well, let me tell you. Roger said, the power of angels represents combat power. I say so, no problem, no problem. Ruosi nodded. The higher the power of an angel, the stronger the fighting ability. Angels with an angel power of more than 800 are called battle angels. Among the battle angels, you and I should be the most powerful beings. So profound, Ruosi, from the day I was born, the angel of my Zudu also told me that my power of heaven is too high, and it would be very troublesome to consume it. Roger let out a long sigh. And you got the same treatment, you say. Why did they say that? They are telling the truth. Jose replied. It's true. Roger smiled, but they also said that the angels should coexist peacefully, and the angels should be polite. Even if the angels are aimed at the gods who are lower than themselves, they should be polite and not overbearing. No, angels are supposed to be like that. Ruosi nodded. Ruosi, think about it. Why did they say that? Roger asked suddenly. Why do you say that? Rose began to think. Minutes later. I see. Ruosi's eyes lit up, as if thinking of something. She looked at Roger and said, they are trying to cover up the fact that we are strong. Ruosi, you are getting smarter. Roger stepped forward and grabbed Ruosi's tender hand, cheering excitedly. Ross nodded vigorously. Roger is right. It's Ming, with such a high level of angel power, others will definitely be jealous. Bulma, poor angel Roger, played by Roger again. But Ruosi thought about it carefully, then looked at Roger's weird smile again. She seemed to understand something. Roger, do you really think I'm stupid? I am very smart. I did it on purpose to cooperate with you. Now, the only thing that can recover the loss is to marry you. Ruosi thought that as long as she married Roger, her losses, including those of her sister and brother, could be recovered. By the way, Roger, what are you doing with me? Call me all the way here, won't you just tell me this? If of course not, it was you who talked about the 9th class food, and I was dumbfounded. Roger replied, I brought you here this time to give you a little bit of the realm of straight gods. By the way, you're straight gods. How many fields are there? How much do you care about me? Ruosi glared at you. Are you too embarrassed to mention the realm of true gods? I owe you so much in the realm of true gods. Ruosi's head is big when she thinks about it. I owe so much, I am afraid that in the next few thousand years and tens of thousands of years, I will have to shoulder the task of repaying the debt. Ruosi feels so sad. I remember your true god domain is 29, right? Roger asked Ning. Want you to take care. Joshua. Ruosi, I'm here to find you this time for your own good, so it's okay if you don't appreciate it, and you still look hostile. Luo Jung said, in that case, go back, I'll find someone else. HMPH, go back when you go back, whoever is afraid. Ruosi said that, but she didn't mean to move. Hurry up. Roger waved his hand. 593 Let's go. I hate you. Ruosi roared, turned into a bright flame, broke into the void and disappeared. I went straight away. It should be clear. Ruosi was already flying in the starry sky, and slowed down the speed of the flight. After a skill and a skill, it will also be with you. After a brief silence, Rose wiped her tears. What's wrong with me? Why am I crying? Ruosi is a little surprised. Why am I crying? I am an angel. Earth, Bulma's home. Roger, you don't know girls at all. Bulma sighed slightly. What does this mean, Ruosi? Roger really doesn't understand. You drove her away and didn't chase her. Bulma asked if I had no habit of chasing girls. Roger shook his head. But you really hurt her this time. Bulma sighs. In fact, for her, sadness is also an experience. Roger pondered, there are many things that angels need to experience. For her, it is bound to go through a tiring movement before she can quickly consume her angelic power. Otherwise, she doesn't know how many years it will take. Perfect control of the power of angels. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 314 The Beauty Angel of the 11th Universe. So, you did that just now for her own good. Bulma's question is not entirely true. She was suddenly sulking, and I had to take the opportunity to stimulate and stab her. Roger Daorose is gone, how do we experiment? Bulma smiled wryly, and if the subjects of this experiment should be female angels and male angels, it would be more appropriate for you to come, Roger. If the rest of the angels are not wearing anything in front of me, Bulma shivered when she said this. Are there any female angels besides Ruosi? I'll ask Vados. Roger muttered. Okay. Bulma nodded. Roger immediately dialed Vados' video call. What's up? Vados asked with a straight face. Vados, I want to go. I feel a little embarrassed to have won so many straight gods from you. So let's go. I plan to pay you back a part. You can come and get it. Roger grinned. Looking at Vados, there is no need for Taoism. I wish the pig would admit defeat, and I will give you half of the realm of true gods every year today. Vados said this with a dark face, and then directly interrupted the call. So crisp. Anyway, listen to how I fool you. How many times did you hang up the phone? Roger thought for a while and called Vados again. But this time, Vados didn't take it. Roger is speechless. Vados, am I that scary? Vados is thinking at this time. Roger, that's enough. Are you still fooling me? Do you really think I'm stupid? You said you want to give a part of the real god realm. Your play-by-play strategy is useless to me. In Vados' view, Roger will definitely give himself a part of the realm of straight gods when he finds himself this time. However, Vados believes that it may not be finished. Find a way to win back these true god domains several times over. Vados still understands this lesson from the past. Vados went back and thought about it, and felt more and more that Roger was cunning. In the 2 games that were won before, Roger was in the layout. Shameless. Roger looked at the scepter and didn't know who to contact for a while. Although there are a lot of angels, there are really not many beautiful angels left. There are only angels from Universe 10 and angels from Universe 11. The problem with Margarita is that Roger has almost nothing to do with the 2 of them, especially with the angel of Universe 10, Chris. Roger has never spoken to her, but Roger is with the angel of Universe 11, Makari. Tower had spoken, but only a word or 2. That was when Margarita and Roger were talking about the last time they were arrogant to destroy the planet. How can I get Margarita or Chris to come over and be a guinea pig? The problem is, the 2 of them didn't provoke me. Roger has a big head. Roger is still very measured and has no one to provoke himself. He is the 11th universe that rarely takes the initiative to deal with, Pride Planet, Krut Palace. Apprentice Angel Krut, Angel Makalita, God of Destruction, the 3 of them are so delicious that they sit at a table and sit down on the rocket. Exclaimed Margarita. Immediately afterwards, there were 2 more big kings in Makalita's hands, and the color of Krut and Yume's danger on the table changed. I won again. Margarita shook her head. Krut and Delicious Dangerous are getting ugly. So boring, always winning, boring. Makalita sucks Clute. You have won, and you said it was boring. We lost so badly. Not only that, if we lose, we have to play with you here before we are bored, okay? Come again. Margarita rode. We really don't have anything to lose to you, Margarita. Clute is about to cry. How did I find such a cosmic experience? Isn't the angel Margarita cute? When did it become so gamble? Especially playing this kind of card called Fighting the Landlord, it's just amazing to play. It must be Margarita cheating. Who made her straight god realm high? It's Ming, Margarita. Clute and I have already lost everything we could to you. We really have nothing left. It's so delicious, it's not worth it. Since a card game called Fighting the Landlord was introduced to Makurita, Makurita has been pulling Yume to play cards everywhere. Sometimes I go to Sava, the realm of the king of the gods, and sometimes I go to Pride Planet to find Clute. Anyway, there are only 3 people in Fighting the Landlord, and it is easy to decide the number. Kurita played 1000 games of Dodizu Babe and lost miserably. Listening to Kepente's meaning, he decided that in his lifetime, as long as Makurita is still in the 11th universe, he will never come back. Too cruel. Worse than Roger. That time, Sabe lost a lot of beloved treasures. Those are the rare treasures that Sabe has collected in the 8th universe for many years, such as flowers and plants, but they finally got it. Angel's love. For example, Sabe, Ziswang food and harvest. Like Weiss, who likes food and singing. Such as Vados, Yanhuan food and music. But because Weiss always sings that kind of ugly songs, Vados lost interest in music. Such as Ruosi, who likes food and travels in lakes. For example, Mel's likes justice and kindness, and he also eats Makaritas and Sanwan food to some extent. Almost all angels love food. People take food as their heaven. Angels love to eat too. Although angels can't starve to death if they don't eat, they can't enjoy the process of eating food if they don't eat. Therefore, as long as it's delicious, angels will also enjoy Makaritas. Rita and bees are not the same. It's over. Beerus has slept for several years. Makarita sleeps for up to 3 days, and when she wakes up, she will dress up to make herself beautiful. Therefore, Makarita also likes a beautiful face. Margarita thinks she looks pretty. Many gods say that among the many angels, the angel caravan slaves in the 12th universe are the best looking at you. What is that admiration for us? What's so good about that fat angel? Makulita has recently become addicted to a card game called Fight the Landlord, and for this reason, Makulita has not slept for several days. Angels don't need sleep, it doesn't matter if they sleep or not. Makulita successfully gained happiness from Destruction God Yumiya and Apprentice Angel Crud and King God Sava. It's just that, always winning, Makurita feels that there is no fun. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 315 Margarita, are you looking for me? Makarita, you can actually go to Roger, who has been trained in the 7th universe. It is said that he is better at gambling. Crut turned the beads around, but thought of Roger. Why not let Margarita do Roger's scourge? That's a shot with 2 arrows. Just to take advantage of this opportunity, you can also let Makurita go to the 7th universe to see, and follow the investigation to find out how strong the Sun Wukong is. Sun Wukong, shouldn't he surpass Jiren? 2 more years. 2 years later, Sun Wukong and Yanlian fought, but who decides the ownership of the new universe? How dare you say it? Margarita glared at Kurt with a stern face at the time. I think back then, you fought with Roger and wiped out the 10th universe. I wasn't fighting. It was Roger's misunderstanding. Krut smiled wryly. But I thought about it. What you said is quite reasonable. I can go to Roger to play. Margarita pondered. Maybe only Roger is my opponent. Just when Roger was about to call Margarita, Roger's scepter shook first. Roger was a little stunned. Could it be that she is strong enough to know her inner world? Impossible. Even the great priest has no such ability. Could it be that this is a consonance? It's just, what does it mean when Margarita finds herself 717? Roger quickly took the video call. Margarita, are you looking for me? Roger waved at Margarita, and Bulma was also cast through the water ball. Mingyu Makurita looked at Bulma and exclaimed. Another beautiful angel who looks like a fairy. This female angel looks even prettier than Vados. Goblin. You are not fairies one, you are all fairies. Roger, will you play landlord? Margarita asked. Fighting the landlord. Roger is a little confused. Why are you still fighting the landlord? In Dragon Ball World, is there a fighting landlord? But Roger thought about it, this kind of thing is normal. There are only so many types of card games, and someone will always develop a card game similar to Dodizu. Margarita briefly talked about the gameplay of fighting the landlord. After Roger heard it, he already understood a general idea. In Dragon Ball World, the gameplay of Dodizu is a little different from Roger's previous world. In Dragon Ball World, K is the largest existence except for the king of size BCED, and 1 and 2 are the smallest. In fact, this is normal. K itself means king, which represents the king. Naturally, it is the biggest meaning of Q itself. Queen, which represents the queen, and the second largest according to the arrangement of the gods, there is actually nothing. In this way, when connecting cards, you can only connect to 10. At the same time, in Margarita's fighting landlord, bombs and rockets are not doubled. Yes, do you enjoy playing this card game? Roger asked. Yes, can you play with me? Margarita suggested. Yes, of course. Roger nodded. Then come here, come to our 11th universe, let's have fun. Margarita's eyes lit up. Come to the 7th universe, come to our universe to play. Roger smiled. Your universe. You need 3 people to play landlord. Virus of your universe is still sleeping, right? Kyan, the god of the realm, is a god who doesn't burn anything, and Whis, I'm afraid you don't like playing cards like this, right? Don't worry, since I asked you to come, I will definitely find a suitable candidate for you. Roger smiled slightly. Well, you wait for me, I'll be there right away. Margarita nodded. The scepter in the video differentiated into a ray of light, calling out the king of the realm. Hello Margarita. Sava, the realm god of the 11th universe, quickly said to Lord Sava, do me a favor and send me to the 7th universe of Yizhou. Margarita directly said to Sava. You really use me as a means of transportation. Look at the angel of the universe, go to another place and ask the Kaiwang god to send it. However, despite being so tolerant in Sava's heart, he still immediately teleported and appeared beside Margarita. Sava was honored with Margarita, and in a flash, he appeared in Bulma's house on Earth in the 7th universe, which is Luo opposite of J. Thank you, Lord Savoy. Thank you, Margarita. Use. After Sava finished speaking, he didn't mean to stop, and went back directly through teleportation. Sava returns to the palace of Krut in Universe 11. The next moment, Savoy, Wymito and Clute hugged each other and cried. We lost so badly. Finally got Margarita away. People were silent for a while. If Margarita continues to play like this, I think I have to figure out a way to get Clute to take her place. Wei Mei let out a long sigh, shaking his head. Empathy. Sava nodded vigorously. I'm still an apprentice angel, I can't make it. Krut smiled bitterly and said an apprentice angel. Apprentice means that he will become an official angel sooner or later. Wei Mei said, so, Krut, you have to do your best, we are all very optimistic about you. Besides, I think the 3 of us are quite temperamental, you are the angel of the 11th universe, better than that woman. I'll do my best to get it right. Clute nodded vigorously. Margarita didn't know that she had been rejected by the gods of the 10th universe. Is this the planet that Roger has trained you on? Margarita looked back and forth, left and right, and smiled. Don't say that the environment of this blue planet is not bad, at least it is much better than the proud planet that Clute has experienced in terms of air quality. Roger smiled and didn't answer. Macaulay had noticed Bulma for a long time. At this time, she looked at this beautiful little beauty again. What is the name of this beautiful little beauty? Margarita thinks Bulma looks so good-looking. A girl who looks similar to herself is good-looking. Hello, my name is Bulma. Bulma said hello, little Bulma, I'm Margarita. Rita answered politely. Bulma has found it. It seems that except for Roger, almost all the angels are very polite. One by one, Bulma was really worried about Margarita, and she didn't know how long this angel could last. Roger, you said that the landlord has found a candidate, wouldn't it be this Miss Bulma? Margarita looked at Lo. Yes, that's her. Roger nodded. She's human, can you? Margarita asked via voice transmission. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 316 Margarita, Compared to you, I was a child playing house. It's just a game of cards, does it have to be God? Roger asked that if you are not a god, you can participate, but we want to win something. She is a human being, and I have nothing to admire. Margarita smiled. Ninth class food, do you like it? Roger smiles. Margarita burst out laughing. You're so funny. You are still waiting for food. How could there be a ninth class cuisine here? Ninth class food, that is only secretly hidden in the palace of Lord Quanwang. You don't believe it. Roger had long known that Margarita would say this, and immediately pulled out a soil frame, handed it to Margarita, and tasted it. Dragon Ball World doesn't have Snickers. The soil rack was copied by Roger through the memory of his previous life. Not to mention, Bulma's copy of Snickers really tastes like peanut chocolate in a previous life. It's a perfect match. What? Margarita opened the wrapper and glanced. Chocolate. The highest level of chocolate is the 7th grade. I have eaten it on the food star. You can taste the 9th grade of chocolate. Roger smiled. Margarita put the chocolate in her mouth and tasted it silently. Suddenly, Margarita's eyes widened. She looked at Roger without blinking, and then looked at the wrapping paper in her hand. Roger is smiling. Margarita thought it was delicious. Actually, for me, it doesn't count. Roger laughs at Margarita. Silent for a moment. You mean, there are better chocolates? Margarita moved in her heart and asked. Degree, try this again, Roger said, and took out a spherical chocolate. This chocolate has its own taste. It is similar to the brand of Ferrero. It was also made by Roger based on the memory of his previous life. Margarita eats it in one bite. Suddenly, Margarita's lips began to dance. Actually, for me, it doesn't count either. Roger smiled. Do you have more delicious chocolate? Margarita's eyes widened. No more chocolate, so much more first. Roger smiled slightly, but I still have the most delicious 9th class food in history. The food that stands at the pinnacle of food. Forget it, let's talk about this later. Are you trying to fuck me on purpose? Margarita is actually a little unbelievable. Still standing at the 9th class gourmet food. You must be fooling me. Margarita's 9th class delicacies are hard to come by. Roger sighed. The first chocolate you ate was called Magnum Capsule No. 1 chocolate, and the second one was called Magnificent Capsule No. 2 chocolate, but it took 9 years to refine them. No. 1 and No. 2 are both 108 yuan. We and you have eaten a few pieces, and each has 100 yuan left, of which 10 yuan will be paid to honor Lord Ji Jinquan, and the remaining 90 yuan can be used with you. What do you think about Dodizu? You don't give filial piety to the Lord of the Grand Shrine? Asked Margarita. The great priest has so many children, and his children are filial, so why should we join in the fun? Roger laughs at what you're saying. Margarita was a little moved. So, if I were, I can get 90 pieces of No. 1 chocolate and 90 pieces of No. 2 chocolate. This kind of No. 1 chocolate is better to talk about. It's okay to eat one piece. But chocolate No. 2, I can eat 10 pieces at a time, okay. Margarita was drooling. 9th class food. There is such a delicious 9th class chocolate on earth. Bulma. Roger, you really can fool. The 2 chocolates are easy to process, okay. The angel Margarita is going to be fooled too. How about you? What do you have? Margarita asked Roger. Margarita, you're mistaken, I'm 90 No. 1, and Bulma's is 90 No. 2. Roger laughed. I'm going to ask you now, what do you have? I have a lot of good stuff. Margarita said, with a big wave of her hand. Some rare treasures and all kinds of strange beasts appeared in front of her eyes. Roger glanced lightly, and suddenly lost interest. The next moment, Roger put away the chocolate. Show, Roger, what do you mean? Makuguo Tower is in a hurry. Don't put away my chocolate. Margarita, are you just going to use these things to play landlords with me? Roger sighed and shook me with a lost face. He was disgusted. My treasures, but there are many good things. For example, hundreds of millions of years of fine ore, scales of the dragon of the gods, hundreds of millions of years of exquisite grass, fragments of super dragon balls, and divine water that can restore energy with a wide mouth. In short, there are many, very cherished, okay. As a result, he was disliked by Roger. Margarita, we are all angels, you are a rare thing, but to me, it is of no value. Roger shook his head and said, let me tell you this, even if you throw all these things to me, let me pick it up in front of me, I feel troublesome. Margarita. Come on, what do you want? Asked Margarita. You see, what is this? Roger said if he detained 4 ES and handed them to Macaulay. Margarita took the IOUs and looked at the IOUs carefully. I owe Roger 2,000 points in the realm of the true god, and the installment rate will be paid every year. Today, half of the realm of the gods is repaid. The signature is Vados, and then the date of the debt to the relatives. Margarita, which is calculated by the divine calendar, has the date. Is it what happened today that Vados owes Roger 2,000 points in the realm of the true gods? Very scary. How long does it take to practice? Margarita keeps looking down. I owe Roger 2,400 true god domain points, which will be repaid in installments, until half of my true god domain is repaid each year. The signature is Wes, and then the date of the IOU, which is also an IOU based on the divine calendar. I owe Roger 1,100 true god domain, which will be repaid in installments, until half of my true god domain is repaid on this day of each year. Signed in Mel. I owe Roger 2,000 true god domain points, which will be repaid in installments, until half of my true god domain is repaid each year. The signature is Ruoc. Margarita had a doxazine. So Scary One did this win the real god realm of the great priest and the whole family. Ah, one more column. Corin was not involved. 1,000. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 317 Margarita, shall we join forces? Margarita suddenly felt that it was really exciting for a child to play Roger, who was playing with Yume and Clute. Margarita thought the trip was worth it. Roger, I see, you want to play True God Realm. Margarita smiled slightly, and said to Roger, however, what is the exchange ratio between the realm of the gods and your 9th grade chocolate? 0.1 o'clock in the realm of straight gods to exchange for a 9th class chocolate. Roger smiled. Margarita made a quick count. In other words, you only need to take out the 9-point True God realm, and you can play well and make a deal. Makata readily agreed. Don't rush to make a deal, I plan to revise and modify the game rules of Dutyju. Roger said, if you don't agree, forget it. You say it. Makata nods. Roger immediately stated the rules of the game of fighting landlords in his previous life. Except for the big and small kings, is the 2 largest. It's a strange setting, Makarika muttered, but as for the rules that Roger said, Makarlike didn't object to it. Anyway, the general direction is the same. Ah, even if there is a bomb, even Hebe. 1 piece of chocolate at a time, 2 pieces once fried, 4 pieces 3 times, this is good, this is interesting. Makarita immediately thought Roger's game rules were more interesting, especially the double bomb, it was so fun. If it is fried 4 times. I'll go, so I can take 8 pieces of chocolate for each person at one time, that's 16 pieces for 2 people. Of course, Margarita didn't count how much she would lose. How could my Margarita lose? Besides, if you lose, how much can you lose? It's just the realm of Zetian. If G loses, it's a big deal. Almost all poker players have this idea of Vados. I only use this point to play. I will not lose. I lost what I had, so I stopped playing. Don't try 2-7 Roger proposals first. Not needed. Don't try Margaritas. Humans try. I'm an angel, and I'm officially starting. The fighting landlord competition has officially started. Margarita's 9-point straight god field loses 1,000 nets. Margarita. How can I lose? I've been winning in Universe 11, okay. Keep going. I will go out of the real god realm at 9 points. Margarita gritted her teeth and another half-hour passed. Makarika lost 9 points and the realm of the gods cleanly. Margarita is a little bit restless. Roger, are you cheating? Margarita looked at Roger and asked Margarita, if I'm going to cheat, can you not see it? Roger laughs at Margarita. Roger was right, if he really cheated, he would definitely notice it again. Margarita said with a dark face. Margarita suddenly felt a little uncomfortable with the bomb setting. Sometimes I have a bomb, but I don't dare to release it. If you lose, you have to double. Likes and dislikes. Forget it, you can't beat me. Roger is smiling. No, luck may be bad today, I'll come back tomorrow. Makarita felt that there must be something wrong. Dengu took out the Quan school and asked Kay to come and pick him up. Roger put his hand on the scepter. What to do? Don't win me all, won't let me go. Margarita stared. Margarita, if you think about me so much, I have nothing to say. I wanted to give you a surprise. In this case, leave the realm of true gods you lost, and you can leave. Luo J sighed. Makarika hesitated for a moment and looked at Roger silently. First of all, what's the surprise? Margarita asked. Bulma recently invented a very advanced instrument that can reduce the consumption to 30% when absorbing other angels' true god domain. Roger said, in the past, if you gave me 100 true god domain, I could absorb it. I only got 50 points, but with Bulma's instrument, I can get 70 points. Makarita's eyes widened. And this kind of thing. This little girl is not easy. Even the transformation consumption of the real god domain can be researched. Margarita, are you surprised or not? Roger asked with a smile. Well, that's really surprising. Margarita nodded, and was speechless at the same time. Roger, you're so idle, let people study this kind of thing. But when Margarita thought about it, it was normal for Roger to do so. Bike Roger's foreign debt has reached more than 7,000 true god domain. If it was wasted when absorbing it, it would be a pity. With this device, Roger can absorb at least 5,000 points of the realm of the gods. Of course, the premise is that there are so many realm of real gods for Roger to suck and bite. The growth of Bishenshin field is still very slow. Especially when it reaches 9, it is even more slow. Margarita knows this. In addition, Makarita has been stuck on 399 for 1,000 years because it is really difficult to break through. This time, Makarita will not have the 18-point true god realm of Yinsheng. It's a surprise for you. For me, it's useless, and no one owes me the realm of true gods. Makarita laughed at Makarita. In fact, our two temperaments are quite similar. Do you think, if the two join forces, then I will have 10,000 true god domain, and the rest will be yours, isn't it great? Roger laughed. How dare you? You actually want to have 10,000 true god domain. But when Margarita thought about it, it was normal for Roger to do so. Baizhang's last archangel also had 10,000 true god domain. But the last archangel was acquired through practice, but you are good, you are the true god who has hacked all the angels by hitting 0.2, so shameless, so shameless. Xingran has a little respect for Roger in his heart, but Maka's tower is still very optimistic about joining forces with each other. How to join forces? Asked Margarita. In a few days, Lord Quanwang will give me an award, and I need you to say a few words for me. Roger lowered his voice and explained a few words to Margarita. That's not appropriate, is it? Are you going to win the real god realm in front of Lord Quanwang and Lord Grand Priest? The perspiration of Margarita slipped off her face. Don't worry, in fact, King Quan has always felt that there are too many universes and it is difficult to manage, and he intends to clear a few universes. Said Roger. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 318 Margarita, Big Loss. Real or fake? How can I not believe it? Margarita looked at Roger silently. Believe it or not, you will find out when the time comes. Roger is right, since you have said so, I can try it. Margarita nodded, be considered as acquiescence. However, how to divide the real god field one by then? I said, I got 10,000 points, and the rest is yours. Roger said it's settled for now. Margarita nodded slightly, but she had a little expectation in her heart. She said that she might become the most angel in the real God field under Roger. As for whether Roger will surpass herself, Margarita doesn't care that Roger is an archangel in the future. Besides, Roger now has more than 7,000 IOUs in the realm of the true gods, and he is not far from 10,000 points. I will definitely go when you award the award. Margarita smiled and planned to leave. Don't rush to leave, have you come to Ant 12? Are you in such a hurry to go back? Roger asked. What else? Asked Margarita. I won't be playing landlord again today anyway. Let's go back to the instrument that converts the realm of the true gods. This instrument still needs to be tested. Well, you can enter 10 points of the realm of gods for me, and I will try the effect. Roger said. You think beautifully, why don't you give me 10 points and I'll try the effect? Margarita stared. Don't you owe me 18 points in the realm of true gods? Just tried these out. Roger grinned straight out of Margarita's hands. The IOU, Jing signed on it, and quickly pressed the handprint. Then, an IOU at 18 o'clock appeared in Roger's hand. Margarita, how are you? At 1800, the real God field also has an IOU. Roger glared at Hiccup. Since they all owe me an IOU, I'll slap an IOU too. We are partners, you want to treat me better, you know. Margarita looked at Roger and said with a smile. I really can't help you. Roger's head was big for a while, and he was reluctant to collect the IOU. That's right, my sister will hurt you. Margarita touched Roger's head. And don't move. Roger rolled his eyes. Anyway, I'm coming tomorrow, and we're going to have a showdown on the landlord. Margarita grinned at Roger, and suddenly thought he was so cute. Don't write me with this look. Roger shouted angrily. By the way, what kind of instrument is that? It's up to me to tell. Margarita Road. Bulma said, explaining the equipment used to convert the real God realm. The real God realm consumed during the conversion was just calculated by me through the computer. Now we need to do an experiment to see how much can be consumed. And, I see the fruit. Consume this. It is not easy to extract it from the real God domain, or use the little girl again. Margarita sighed that I am no longer young. Bulma smiled awkwardly. This girl is in her 30s. Woman tofu dregs. You are only in your 30s, but I have lived for tens of millions of years. Margarita smiled. Are you a tofu scum? So, Roger, you give me 10 points of the realm of the gods, so I can try it. Margarita suggested that the sheath should be worn on the device and no clothes should be worn. Roger silently looked at Margarita and said with a smile, are you sure you want to try? What are you afraid of? Margarita smiled faintly, but didn't care that it came with me. Bulma greeted. Under the guidance of Bulma, the three entered the laboratory. There is a laboratory table next to the instruments in the laboratory. Margarita was lying in her clothes, on the lab bench. No clothes. Bulma rode. Macaulay Cannon waved her hand gently. Suddenly, the clothes on Margarita disappeared. Let's start. Margarita rode. Bulma sighed that she was indeed an angel. So unreservedly presented in front of Roger, without blushing at all, Margarita, you have a good figure. Roger looked up and down, and complimented you. Do you think I'm in good shape? Margarita laughs. Very good. Roger comments. Don't you think Martino is in better shape? Asked Margarita suddenly. Martino. Roger froze. Martino, the angel of the 12th universe. Is there a photo of Margarita's reply? Asked Roger. With a swipe of the scepter in Margarita's hand, a photo floated beside Roger. Roger took a look at the photo. Roger almost vomited. Margarita, don't make trouble, is this beautiful? This kind of fat woman. Roger shouted angrily. I'll take a look, I'll take a look. Bulma walked over curiously, stumbled and smiled bitterly, although I'm also human, I don't think she's right. What do you know, in the realm of the gods, this kind of fat woman's figure is the most standard. On the contrary, my 730 kinds of slender figures are not good looking. Margarita sighed slightly that their aesthetic point of view was problematic. Roger said. Hiccup, you still know me. Margarita winked at Roger and said that again. Margarita, there is a little red dot under your chest, is it a mole? Roger stared at the position of Margarita's chest. It's strange that the first time I saw an angel was a long one. Margarita. How, am I right? Roger asked back. Look at me, I don't have a mole all over my body, said Margarita hastily. Moreover, it seems that Vados and Ruosi are not long. Or is it that I didn't observe carefully enough? Roger mused. How did you know there was a lump under my chest? Margarita asked if you were wearing any clothes. I could see run clearly. Roger said, what did you say? Margarita was shocked and sat up directly from the experimental table. Roger stared at Margarita without blinking. How many of your straight gods are you? Margarita's asked 499. What's wrong? Roger asked rhetorically. What? When did your true god realm become so high? Asked Margarita in a voiceless voice. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 319 Grand Priest. Why did Myers lose the least? I am a genius. Roger smiled. Margarita was restless for a while. The reason why Margarita was lying on the test bed so readily was because she believed that her straightness was high, and Luo couldn't see her body. As a result, what Margarita didn't expect was that Roger's God Xiao domain actually surpassed her. Okay now, Roger took a thorough look at his body and it's gone. Big loss. Margarita was thinking about whether to go down and replace Roger. It's just that he has given him all of himself, so is it a loss to replace him now? And you have to consume 10 points of True God domain. Let's get started. Margarita closed her eyes, but the jerk turned rosy after a minute. Hey, Roger, where are your hands? Margarita opened her eyes and glared at Roger. Bulma, your instrument is a bit too much, do you have to put your hands here? Roger is also speechless and can't do anything. This position on his chest is the most convenient for entering the real God's field. Angel Margarita, please bear with me. Bulma smiled. Hurry up and enter the realm of true gods. Margarita stared. 10 o'clock. Roger entered 10 points into Margarita, and the instrument made by Bulma started to rotate, and another minute or so passed for automatic conversion. Sure enough, I absorbed 7 points. Margarita said. And after saying this, Margarita got up. I broke through. Margarita was amazing. Gong gong. Roger Dao. My true god domain has finally reached 400. Margarita was so happy, she hugged Roger and gave him a sip in the face. Don't make trouble, Margarita, I don't like Smurfs. Roger rolled his eyes, and Makata hurriedly covered his angel costume. This instrument is not bad. It would be nice if it could be more convenient to enter the realm of straight gods. It's getting late, said Margarita. It's time for me to go back. Are you coming tomorrow? Asked Roger. Of course, we will continue tomorrow. Margarita smiled. Margarita waved at Roger and turned into a colorful flame, which quickly disappeared. This time, Margarita did not ask Kai, the king of the world, to pick her up. Margarita planned to fly back by herself. On the way back, Margarita was speechless. The sky seems to be lost. Margarita Merman's own loss. Lost 18 points of True God domain. Let Roger take a good look at himself. Roger also did it to himself. Margarita lost the more she thought about it. But the only thing that makes Margarita gratified is that her realm of true gods has finally broken through after thousands of years. Forget it, a little brat, just watch it. Margarita can only comfort herself so much. The sixth universe, the elephant planet. The figure of the great priest appeared on this planet. Champa hurriedly stepped forward and bowed down. Vados is also a salute. With a dark face, the great priest turned to the right of the 4 copies of the owed relatives. So, the 4 of you owe Roger a total of 7,500 true god domain. The great priest was so angry that his nose was crooked, and Vados didn't say a word. Worried and lost. And, lost badly. How much did Sri Lanka lose? Only 1100 points. The Grand Priest suddenly found out that Myers only lost 0 points, while Vados and the others lost more than 2000 points. It seems that it was the last gambling game. Roger deliberately released water. Vados guessed. Intentional release of water. Why deliberately release water on Myers? The Great Priest asked again. I don't know. Vados shook his head. You say, this kid is not deliberately teaming up with Roger to trick you, right? Isn't he? The Great Priest thinking about it. Vados's eyes widened, and he looked at the Great Shrine in a weird way. How could you think so? Is Ghouls your own? He will team up with Roger to pit us. Will not. Certainly not. I don't think so either, I hope not. The Great Priest sighed, and the figure also became blurred. The figure of the Great Priest flickered and appeared on the planet Ruosi. However, the Great Priest did not show up. He just silently wrapped his own daughter, and disappeared again. The next moment, the Great Priest appeared in the 7th universe. Beerus planet. Beerus hurried over and knelt down. Lord of the Great Shrine. Weiss bows and salutes. The High Priest had a dark face and did not speak. Weiss also sweated on his face. I heard that you spent 500 points in the realm of true gods to buy a stereo. The Grand Priest asked. Yes, Lord Grand Priest. Weiss nodded and corrected it again. It's a set of sounds, a total of 108. Today I'm not the Grand Priest. The Grand Priest said. Yes, my father. Weiss nodded. May I see it? The Great Priest smiled. Okay. Weiss nodded, took out the universal capsule from the alien space, pressed it on it, and threw the universal capsule at random, and it suddenly turned into 108 sound bites. These 108 speakers are also automatically arranged and combined according to the bad environment of the scene, and placed in a reasonable orientation. Please take a look at this set of sounds, but this set of sounds will automatically beautify my singing, so that the singing will be heard from any angle. The bewilderment of the sound of nature. Weiss Xingxian explained, I'll sing a song to my father now. The Great Priest's eyes moved slightly. Broken. Suddenly, the 108 speakers made a muffled sound, and a gust of smoke came out, which completely destroyed Wes's expression and froze. Next time you don't have a long memory, I'll just erase these things for you. After the Great Priest shook this sentence, he disappeared through teleportation. Weiss looked at the sound of the smoke and was shocked, and hurriedly waved the scepter, wanting to come back to repair through the reincarnation of time. However, the next moment, Weiss suddenly realized that his real god domain, and the scepter in his hand, actually even. Good king, good time. Reincarnation is hard to use. No, it was father who blocked this time and used the right to reincarnate time. My stereo won my 108 stereos. Weiss, distressed tears are about to fall. Beerus watched the play, feeling a little excited. Great, this thing finally broke. Beerus would have liked the sound to break. Because when Weiss came back, he summoned the sound system and Beerus almost collapsed. Beerus' tragic discovery, this sound can actually be used in the castle where he sleeps, and the omnidirectional and dead-end Bonema, and let no one sleep. Now that the stereo is ruined, Beerus thinks it's really good. Mr. Beerus, you seem to be gloating a little. Weiss glanced at Bissons. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 320 Grand Priest. Myers, are you gloating? No, how is that possible? Beerus won't admit it. I see you smiling, Weiss said with a dark face. I do not. Beerus shouted, Weiss, you're thinking too much. Am I that kind of person? Boom. Although Beerus tried his best, he was still beaten by Weiss. Lord Beerus. I just felt itchy. In fact, no matter what you say, I'm going to beat you. Weiss feel better after repairing Beerus. Universe 7, Galactic Patrol Headquarters. Meet the Grand Priest. Myers bowed and saluted the High Priest in his room. Today, there is no Great Priest. The Great Priest said yes, my father. Myers salutes again. Myers, tell me, why did your elder brother and sister both lose 2,000 points in the realm of the true gods, but you are the exception, only losing 1,000 points? The great priest asked if this was Roger's last game, and the Thiel seemed to have deliberately let me win. Myers scratched his head. Really? The big God 963 official has a look on his face. I don't know why Roger released water. He said that he was worried that I would be beaten by Myers, who gritted his teeth and looked at the great priest and said, Myers, do you mean to say that the father will beat you? The high priest's eyelids got darker. I didn't say that was what Roger said. Myers quickly corrected what Roger said. Is it the truth? The high priest's eyes twitched slightly, and Myers' heart thumped. Oops. The look in my father's eyes is about hitting someone. Should I run away? The problem is, I can't run past my father. Hales, my father didn't want to hit you, but you lost less than your elder sister, brother and sister, and you looked like you were schadenfreude. This is your fault. The great shrine sighed. When did I gloat over my misfortune? You'll find alone. If you want to hit me hard. Myers is said to have been beaten again. Roger hadn't waited for Margarita, but first saw Wes coming over with a depressed look on his face. What's wrong? I heard that the Grand Priest beat up Myers. That poor boy, Myers, is right, but the Grand Priest didn't beat you. What do you mean by this dangerous expression? Roger asked curiously that Weiss didn't know how to speak. Come on, talk about your unhappiness and make me happy, urged Roger. Weiss. You are shameless. It's like this. My father doesn't seem to like this set of speakers very much, and it's broken. I'm here to ask, can it be repaired? Or, are there any new ones? Weiss asked. Weiss, as I said, this set of voice calls is the only one in the entire universe, and it is unique. Roger said seriously. Can it be repaired? Weiss asked. Don't worry, as long as it's not completely destroyed, it can be repaired. Roger nodded and said, you take it out and let Bulma see how bad it is. You can rest assured, Weiss, since we have put this set, the audio is sold to you, and the after-sales service is also in place. Weiss is happy. This thing has bridal service. Conscience seller. Really conscientious seller. It's just that Weiss couldn't be happier next time. Roger added later. That is, if the audio has any quality problems, it can be repaired for free, but if it is artificially damaged, a repair fee will be charged. Weiss. Maintenance fees. Weiss had to take out the speakers and put them on the ground one by one. The speakers were broken, so the automatic positioning system, BCCE, also failed. This is too bad. After Bulma arrived, she was speechless for a while. The system was broken, and the hardware also failed. Miss Bulma, can it be repaired? Weiss heart asked quickly. Yes, but the maintenance cost is very high. I don't recommend maintenance. Bulma shook her head. How much does it cost to repair? Weiss has long felt that this thing is not easy to repair, and he gritted his teeth and asked that in fact, it is almost no different from doing it again. Bulma sighed that I can provide materials, and what materials are needed, I will find them. Weiss said. In fact, the materials are not expensive. The expensive is the manual fee, which is very time-consuming. Bulma shakes it, right. After all, to do a new set, at least 500 points are needed to go to the realm of the gods. What are you talking about? Roger shouted, you want so many realm of real gods, why are you embarrassed? Bulma is very good. Cooperating with Han did not speak. Although this thing is man-made damage, but based on my relationship with Weiss, give him something cheaper. Roger said this. Bulma is a little embarrassed. 100 points of True God domain is enough, so many are not suitable. Roger said okay, since you said that, Roger, I don't have much to say. Bulma nodded. 00 points in the realm of true gods is indeed enough to declare, so let's say, Roger, since you said the relationship between us, I'll give you 200 points of IOUs in the realm of real gods. Weiss pondered that. Yes. Sui Jia readily agreed. It would take several days for Genshin to manufacture or repair this set of speakers, so after Whis gave the IOU to Roger, he turned into a colorful flame and flew away. In the air, Wes and Margarita face off. Hello Margarita. Weiss politely said hello, Wes. Margarita nodded. Weiss stopped talking. By the way, Wes, can you play Fight the Landlord? Margarita asked. No. Weiss answered sternly. Goodbye. Margarita ignores Wes. What foot-fighting landlord? The next moment, Margarita fell from the sky and landed on Roger's side. Roger, did Wes just leave the earth? Did he come for you? Asked Margarita. Yeah, just left. Roger nodded. IOU. Margarita saw Ruo's IOU in Roger's hand right after. Ah, Wes just gave it to me. Roger smiles. Can I you? Asked Margarita. You are a genius, remember in a second.